Chapter 347. Time passed quickly when he was cultivating alone. When Ningcheng saw that the broken crystal stone was getting dimmer and dimmer, he did not continue to use it. At this time, he already had the cultivation of Soul Essence 8th level. Even if he completely consumed the crystal stone, he would at most reach the Soul Essence 9th level. Shi Qianghua had not yet returned, so Ningcheng could only continue with his body forging. Body forging not only required rich spiritual qi, but he also needed to find a place for body forging. In the sifting orchid star, there was no shortage of places for body forging. Ningcheng put away the Immortal's Jade card left behind by Shi Qianghua, and temporarily left the place where he lived. He knew that his cultivation was still too low, at least compared to the cultivators who stayed behind in the sifting orchid star. His cultivation was still too low. The first place that Ningcheng found was a spatial turbulence. Although it was on the periphery of the spatial turbulence, the turbulence was not very serious, but after Ningcheng entered, all of his clothes were quickly torn to shreds. Fortunately, there were not many people in this place. As such, he did not feel anything wrong staying here alone. The body forging cultivation method left behind by Shi Qianghua had only revolved a single cycle, and Ningcheng's skin was already bleeding from the cuts caused by the spatial turbulence. Although he could feel that his body was slowly strengthening, Ningcheng still felt that it was too slow. He began to fuse the embracing Yang God tactic and the body forging cultivation method left behind by Shi Qianghua. With the mysterious yellow formless cultivation method, fusing the two body forging cultivation methods, for Ningcheng, was not very difficult. While the body forging cultivation method was constantly being revised, Ningcheng also slowly moved along the edge of the spatial turbulence. This kind of movement, even he himself was not aware of it. Just moving less than 10 feet, Ningcheng's body once again had numerous bloody scars. His whole body was covered in blood, but he had already entered into a state of body forging, or rather, he had entered into an epiphany. Body forging cultivators rarely had epiphanies. Body forging and cultivation were different. Once they gained an epiphany, it was very likely that they would lose their life. Moreover, body forging did not require an epiphany. It was completely dependent on the harsh environment of nature to temper one's corporeal body. Catcha, a crisp sound awakened Ningcheng from his epiphany. Not waiting for him to understand his situation, a puff sound rang out, as a spatial blade light cut across his waist, leaving a long wound, from which blood instantly sprayed out. Ningcheng was shocked in his heart, as he quickly retreated. Only now did he realize that he had unwittingly arrived at an area filled with spatial turbulence. Not only were there spatial turbulences here, but there were also spatial wind blades. If he advanced a little further, he might encounter even denser and more powerful spatial wind blades. If that happened, he wouldn't even know how he died. Ningcheng took in a deep breath. He had been cultivating in this place for almost a month, but other than integrating the body forging cultivation method, he had not made any progress. It was still a level 2 spirit body. Apart from his spirit body becoming slightly more condensed, he had gained nothing. The jade strip that Shi Qianghua had left behind was very clear in its introduction. In order to forge one's body, one must be able to endure loneliness and endure pain. It was not that Ningcheng could not endure this kind of pain, but he felt that this kind of forging of the body was simply too slow. After swallowing a few pills, Ningcheng did not continue to refine in this manner, and returned to the immortal cave under the canyon. He decided to concoct pills first. He had a pile of level 5 to level 7 spirit grasses on him. He wanted to concoct a batch of pills before continuing to temper his body. He knew that there was a level 6 profound pill called the Cleansing Earth Pill, which was very helpful for body refining. A month later, Ningcheng was able to easily refine a level 5 special grade profound pill. 4 months later, Ningcheng was able to refine a level 6 special grade profound pill, Clean Lotus Pill, and became a level 6 profound pill master. Half a year later, Ningcheng successfully refined his first batch of medium grade Clear Jade pills. Clear Jade pills was a level 7 pill, although it was a level 7 pill, but it could restore true essence, which was something that no level 6 pill could compare to. With the emergence of the Clear Jade pill, it meant that Ningcheng had truly become a level 7 pill grandmaster. Ningcheng was very regretful. He did not have any more level 7 spirit grasses to try. Otherwise he was sure that he could become a pill grandmaster, who could refine level 7 special grade pills within a month. In this half a year, in addition to the wasted spirit grasses, the rest of the spirit grasses were refined by Ning Cheng into a pile of pills. Profound Replenishment Pill, Siyuan Pill, Clean Lotus Pill, Cleansing Rain Pill, Profound Life Pill, Cleansing Earth Pill. Altogether there were about 20 kinds of pills, but the most important ones to Ning Cheng were the Clean Lotus Pill, the Cleansing Rain Pill and the Cleansing Earth Pill. Moreover, these 3 pills were all level 6 profound pills. The Cleansing Rain Pill was a top-quality healing pill. If Ning Cheng wanted to forge his body, then he would absolutely need healing pills. The Cleansing Earth Pill was a genuine body-forging pill, which could help cultivators speed up the progress of condensing their corporeal body. But the Clean Lotus Pill was a pill that could wash away the body's toxins and remove the impurities from the body. With the help of these 3 pills, Ning Cheng felt that his preparations were almost complete. If this was the case, then he would not be able to speed up the progress of his body forging, then he would be helpless. Arriving at the spatial turbulence where he had cultivated last time, in order to avoid his clothes from being torn by the spatial turbulence, Ning Cheng simply took off his clothes completely. The tearing turbulence once again swept over him. He did not know whether it was a psychological effect, or because the mysterious yellow formless body forging cultivation method was much more powerful. Ning Cheng felt that the speed of his body quenching had significantly increased by a lot. Ning Cheng slowly moved towards the middle of the spatial turbulence, although the speed of his body quenching had increased a lot. But when he approached the place where he was seriously injured last time, he was once again cut by a few wind edges. Ning Cheng did not dare to move forward. He swallowed a Cleansing Rain Pill, and crazily operated the formless body forging cultivation method in the same place, while resisting the chaotic spatial wind edges around him. Chi-chi sounds of blood splattering continued to resound, as those tiny spatial blade lights cut through Ning Cheng's skin, leaving behind a trail of blood, but they were unable to tear through Ning Cheng's body. Ning Cheng's corporeal body was also constantly strengthening, as his body issued a few caw-caw sounds, as a few tiny spatial blade lights brushed past Ning Cheng's body. But these few tiny spatial blade lights were completely unable to cut through Ning Cheng's skin. Ning Cheng was overjoyed in his heart. He knew that the few caw-caw sounds that he was hearing were the partial restructuring of his bones. At this moment, he had finally advanced to a rank 3 spiritual body. He had only just started his body forging, but he had already advanced to a rank 3 spiritual body. For Ning Cheng, this was a great encouragement. He carefully continued to move forward. For Ning Cheng, this spatial turbulence was the best place to start his body forging. The turbulence in the periphery was relatively weak, but the deeper he went, the more powerful it became. There were even powerful spatial blade lights crisscrossing around. After advancing more than 10 feet, Ning Cheng suddenly felt an extreme sense of danger. Ning Cheng subconsciously leaned his body to one side. Puff, a mouthful of blood. Ning Cheng's shoulder was almost cut off. If not for him having just advanced to a rank 3 spiritual body, this attack would have cut off one of his arms. Half of his shoulder bone was cut off, causing him to feel a tearing pain. Ning Cheng was very clear about the danger in this place. There were already spatial blade lights crisscrossing around everywhere. If his shoulder was cut off, then it would still be considered light. If it was serious, then he might even be cut in half at the waist. Even so, Ning Cheng still did not retreat. He knew that at this time, using Uncle Yu's words, there was no problem at all. One must not be timid in body forging. If he was timid at this time, then he would never be able to advance to the imperial body. Fortunately, Ning Cheng was well prepared this time. After swallowing a Cleansing Rain Pill, he also swallowed 2 Cleansing Earth Pills. Circulating the non-phase body forging cultivation method to the extreme, along with the Cleansing Earth Pills being refined and integrated into his essence blood, Ning Cheng felt that his corporeal body was becoming more and more condensed. The spatial wind blades were constantly crisscrossing, except for the first spatial wind blade that almost cut off Ning Cheng's arm. Although the wind blades could still injure Ning Cheng, but it was not a serious injury. Moreover, Ning Cheng was also able to deal with them more and more easily. On the surface, Ning Cheng looked like he was covered in blood, but the fact was that Ning Cheng was very clear. The injuries he suffered were not fatal, they were just some flesh wounds. Only when the wind blades touched his bones, the pain was really unbearable. For a month, Ningcheng slowly passed by in this body-forging cultivation method. At the beginning of the second month, although Ningcheng had not advanced to the imperial body, but he could completely ignore the spatial wind blades in this place. The surface of his body even began to scab, and some of the flesh wounds, even the bones that were injured by the wind blades, also began to recover. Ningcheng once again walked towards the depths of the spatial turbulence, while in his heart he was thinking about whether or not he could combine the body-forging cultivation method with his own cultivation method. Otherwise he would have to spend time on body forging, and would also have to spend time on cultivation. It would simply be too wasteful. As Ningcheng went deeper into the depths of the spatial turbulence, he once again began to suffer injuries. Ningcheng, in this kind of injury again, cultivation again, passing through one boring day after another. After 3 months, Ningcheng could no longer feel any progress, and he simply could not feel the boundary of a rank 4 imperial body. Ningcheng knew that he had to go deeper, in order to have the opportunity to advance to a rank 4 imperial body. After moving forward a few feet, several wind blades exploded on Ningcheng's body, causing a harsh sound of bones breaking to resound, but Ningcheng did not move at all. He had once suffered even more serious injuries than this, but did he not manage to pull through? Not to mention that he could now operate the body-forging cultivation method without any distractions, right? The spatial wind blades in this place were already incomparably dense, causing Ningcheng's flesh and blood to scatter everywhere, while his bones started to break inch by inch. Ningcheng's face was getting paler and paler. It was as if the next moment his entire body did not belong to him. He grabbed a handful of cleansing earth pills and a handful of cleansing rain pills, and swallowed them down, while crazily operating the body-forging cultivation method. At this time, Ningcheng could not afford to save the pills, or even think that eating too many cleansing rain pills would not be good for him. If he could not advance in this place, then he would have no choice but to retreat. The terrifying medicinal properties of the pills quickly reconstructed his bones, while the cleansing rain pills quickly healed his injuries. Catcha, a sound emerged. Ningcheng felt that after his first broken bone automatically healed, the rest of the broken bones also quickly reconstructed themselves. His bloody skin also healed in an instant, even at a speed visible to the naked eye. It was restored to its original appearance. The spatial wind blades continued to sweep over, but these spatial wind blades, other than leaving behind traces that quickly disappeared on Ningcheng's smooth and robust skin, were unable to cause even the slightest injury to Ningcheng. Although he had finally advanced to a rank 4 imperial body, Ningcheng did not feel much joy. He had modified the cultivation method, and even used a lot of cleansing earth pills and cleansing rain pills, but advancing to a rank 4 imperial body was unexpectedly very difficult. If he wanted to advance to a rank 5 imperial body, it would be extremely difficult. At least without the help of a higher grade external object than the cleansing earth pills, it would be very difficult for him to advance. Chapter 348. Ningcheng walked out of the center of the spatial turbulence, cleaned himself and changed into a fresh set of clothes. Soul Essence 8th level coupled with a rank 4 imperial body. If he met another cultivator with similar strength to Yenda, then Ningcheng would not even need to use the treasure fall copper coin, as he could easily kill them. It had only been a year since he arrived at the Sifting Orchid Star, yet his strength had already made such a huge progress. Even his alchemy level had risen to the level of an Earth Pill Grandmaster, causing Ningcheng to feel very satisfied. The only regret was that it had already been a year, yet Shi Qianghua had not returned. Ningcheng did not intend to return to his residence. He was already at the Soul Essence 8th level, and was preparing to advance to the Soul Sculpting Realm. In order to advance to the Soul Sculpting Realm, in addition to needing a lot of cultivation resources, one would also need to have a spiritual source to break through to the Soul Sculpting Realm. In the Yixing mainland, most of the cultivators who wanted to break through to the Soul Sculpting Realm used the Void Cleaving Pill. Although the Void Breaking Pill was a Tier 7 Earth Pill, it was extremely hard to concoct. Not only was it hard to concoct, it also required a few top-grade spiritual herbs such as the Fate Birth Flower, Silver Buddha Fruit, and other precious Tier 7 spiritual herbs. Not to mention that Ning Cheng was currently unable to refine the void-cleaving pill. Even if Ning Cheng was able to refine the void-cleaving pill, he simply did not have the necessary spiritual grasses. Although he had obtained a lot of rank 5 and above spiritual grasses from Yenda and Qi Li's rings, the fact was that the truly precious spiritual grasses, in addition to the frost sprout, were only a few. Ning Cheng knew that he would not be able to advance if he hid in the house, and went into seclusion. As such, he decided to leave this place temporarily and look for an opportunity to advance. It was a fact that there were all kinds of dangers in the sifting orchid star, but at the same time, there were also all kinds of opportunities, which was also a fact. "Hey, are there people here?" A surprised voice sounded out. Ning Cheng then saw two figures flying over. The space turbulence here was too noisy, so he didn't notice that someone was coming. The two people who arrived were both in the soul sculpting realm. One of them was a female cultivator at the 5th level of soul sculpting realm, with a charming appearance and an extremely beautiful appearance. The other was a male cultivator with a cultivation of 9th level of soul sculpting realm, with a medium stature and an average appearance. In fact, he even looked somewhat crude. Ning Cheng initially thought that the two of them had also come here for body forging. After all, this place only had spatial turbulences, and the spiritual qi here was not very rich. Therefore, he immediately wanted to leave. There was a female cultivator here for body tempering, so it was not appropriate for him to stay here, not to mention that he was going to leave anyway. "Friend, could it be that you are training your body here?" The male cultivator took the initiative to ask Ning Cheng. His cultivation was much higher than Ning Cheng's, so he spoke in a casual manner. Ning Cheng nodded. "Yes, I do want to temper my body here. However, the spatial turbulences in this place are a bit turbulent. Therefore, I want to change to a more temperate place." "Friend, please wait." Seeing Ning Cheng about to leave, the male cultivator quickly stopped Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng asked in a calm voice, "Is there anything else?" As if feeling Ning Cheng's guard up, the male cultivator spoke up with a smile. "Friend, you don't have to worry about it. The two of us, husband and wife, have been cultivating in the sifting orchid star for many years, and are not people who act recklessly." Ning Cheng snickered in his heart. Even if he messed around, he was not afraid of these two people. "Let me introduce myself first. I am Chao He, and this is my Dao companion, Ban Miaolei." When the male cultivator heard that Ning Cheng was a body forging cultivator, his tone immediately turned polite as he spoke. "It's like this. If this friend's body forging has reached rank 3 spiritual body, then we would like to invite this friend to a place together, which is the sifting orchid star's fiery wind cliff." "Sorry, I don't have much interest in this." Ning Cheng refused without hesitation. These two people were cultivators in the soul sculpting realm, so why would they want to team up with him? A soul essence cultivator? If there were really good things, then it would not be his turn. After crawling around the Yixing mainland for so many years, Ning Cheng had long since believed that good things would not fall from the sky for no reason. Don't refuse. This friend must be preparing to advance to the soul sculpting realm soon, right? In the sifting orchid star, there is no such thing as a void-cleaving pill. However, the place that I am going to, not only can you advance to the soul sculpting realm, but it can also help your body forging body to take a step further. Because there are not many people in that place, we invited this friend. Chao He, seeing Ning Cheng refuse, still spoke in a calm manner. When Ning Cheng heard this, his heart immediately moved. He did not care about anything else, but he could not help but care about the resources needed to advance to the soul sculpting realm. Regardless of whether what the other party said was true or false, he would first listen to it. Seeing Ning Cheng stop in his tracks, Chao He did not find it strange at all. If a cultivator who was about to reach the great circle of the soul essence realm did not care about the things needed to advance to the soul sculpting realm, then there were only two possibilities. One was that this cultivator already had pills or treasures on him that could help him advance to the soul sculpting realm, and the other was that this cultivator was very timid and did not dare to go out casually. For a cultivator to come to the sifting orchid star, how could his courage be timid? Chao He spoke in a calm manner. The fiery wind cliff has a spiritual object called the true polar bamboo sprout. Seeing Chao He looking at him, Ningqing shook his head and spoke. I have never heard of such a thing. Chao He smiled and spoke. You have never heard of it, because this thing does not exist in the Yixing mainland. I guess that you have not come to the Sifting Orchid Star for a long time, right? I do not know if you have any companions. If you do, then we can go together, the more the better. Ban Miaolei, who had not spoken at the side, suddenly spoke up. The true polar bamboo sprout is a rank 7 spiritual object, but it is the king among the rank 7 spiritual objects. This kind of spiritual object not only has the effect of a void-cleaving pill, which can help cultivators break through the bottleneck of the soul essence realm, but it can also quench the corporeal body, which has a greater effect on breaking through to the body-forging realm. Ningqing asked in doubt. Since there is such a top-notch rank 7 spiritual object, then why have I not heard of it in the Yixing mainland? Chao He explained. Although the true polar bamboo sprout can help soul essence cultivators break through the bottleneck and advance to the soul sculpting realm, but for ordinary soul essence cultivators, they cannot directly consume it, rather they would need to supplement it with other spirit pills. Because the impact of the true polar bamboo sprout is very powerful, its destructive power is also very formidable. If one directly consumes the true polar bamboo sprout to break through to the soul essence realm, then it is very likely that one's meridians would tear apart, and their body would burn to death. The most important thing is that this kind of spiritual object is extremely rare. In that case, it would not be of much use for me to obtain this kind of spiritual object. Ningqing replied in a sinking voice. Chao He immediately spoke up. Otherwise, the true polar bamboo sprout can be used together with the thoughtless ice flower. Moreover, I happen to know where to find the thoughtless ice flower. When Ningqing heard about the true polar bamboo sprout, he was immediately tempted. It was not only because the true polar bamboo sprout could help him advance to the soul sculpting realm, but because this kind of spiritual object could actually help in forging one's body. When Chao He spoke about the thoughtless ice flower, Ningqing had already decided to go and have a look. Ningqing had heard of the thoughtless ice flower before. It was a rare spiritual grass with an ice attribute. It could be used to refine the thoughtless pill, which could curb heart demons, and could also help cultivators to suppress cultivation deviation. Ningqing knew that because he had the mysterious yellow origin in the mysterious yellow bead, he would not be disturbed by heart demons when he advanced to the soul essence realm. Who knew if his cultivation would be higher in the future? Would he still be disturbed by heart demons? It was always good to be prepared. According to Chao He, the thoughtless ice flower could neutralize the effects of the true polar bamboo sprout, which made sense. Good, I agree. My name is Ningqing. Just the three of us? Once Ningqing agreed, he did not hesitate for even half a moment. Chao He spoke up with joy. There is also a friend. We are going to look for him. With the four of us going together, we would have a higher level of assurance. Does Brother Ning have any preparations? We can wait for you. I do not have anything to prepare. We can go now. Ningqing replied. Seeing Ningqing, a soul essence cultivator, teaming up with two soul sculpting realm cultivators to search for treasures, yet he was still so calm, without even half a shred of worry or surprise. Ban Miaolei, on the other hand, once again looked at Ningqing in doubt, but did not find any abnormalities. Brother Ning, did you just come to the Sifting Orchid Star? Ban Miaolei took the initiative to ask. That's right, I heard that this place is a good place for body forging, and I just happened to obtain a body forging cultivation method, so I decided to come here. Ningqing replied in a very simple manner. Ban Miaolei also spoke up in approval. That's right, the Sifting Orchid Star is indeed the best place for body forging. After we came here, we started body forging. I still have not asked which academy Brother Ning comes from. Ban Miaolei asked intentionally or unintentionally. I'm just a rogue cultivator. I just made a small fortune, which gave me the opportunity to come to the Sifting Orchid Star. However, from Senior Apprentice Sister Ban's body, I can feel that Senior Apprentice Sister Ban comes from a major academy. Ningqing replied as if nothing had happened. Chao He gave a chuckle from the side. Brother Ning, you are not wrong. Miaolei comes from the Severing Emotions Dao sect, which is one of the top 10 academies in the Tian continent. Severing Emotions Dao sect? Ningqing stared at Ban Miaolei in surprise as he repeated the words. Ning Cheng was too familiar with the Severing Emotions Dao sect. Before he came here, he had even caused a huge ruckus in the Severing Emotions Dao sect, almost turning the Severing Emotions Dao sect upside down. His words a moment ago were just a blind guess. He really did not think that Ban Miaolei came from the Severing Emotions Dao sect. Didn't the Severing Emotions Dao sect want to sever their emotions? This Chao He was together with Ban Miaolei. Did he want Ban Miaolei to sever her emotions? Thinking of this, Ning Cheng subconsciously looked at Chao He. Chapter 349. Seeing Ning Cheng sizing him up, Chao He did not care about it and spoke up with a smile. Elder brother Ning must have thought that Miaolei and I were together to sever our emotions, right? Actually, Miaolei and I had fled to the Sifting Orchid Star in order to avoid the pursuit of the Severing Emotions Dao sect. Many people know about this, so there's no need to hide it. Hunt me down? Isn't senior apprentice Sister Ban from the Severing Emotions Dao sect? Why would they still want to kill us? Ning Cheng asked in doubt. Seeing that Ning Cheng seemed to be more interested in the Severing Emotions Dao sect, Chao He, in order to draw closer to Ning Cheng, deliberately explained, Miaolei and I truly love each other. After we became husband and wife, Miaolei not only did not sever her emotions, but also raised a daughter for me. The Severing Emotions Dao sect absolutely did not allow their disciples to lose their chastity in front of someone who had fallen in love with them. Moreover, they did not allow anyone to fall in love with them. Miaolei and I even have a daughter, but they are determined to kill me and Miaolei. Did you come to the Sifting Orchid Star to avoid the Severing Emotions Dao sect? Ning Cheng immediately understood that the reason why he came to the Sifting Orchid Star was also to avoid the Severing Emotions Dao sect. Chao He's face turned gloomy. That's right, in order to escape, even our own daughter died at the hands of the Severing Emotions Dao sect. Us husband and wife and the Severing Emotions Dao sect are sworn enemies. This is an inhumane sect, and the sect leader who established the sect is a crazy woman. Ning Cheng also spoke up in agreement. That's right, this academy is really not that good, it's just a bunch of old virgins, all of them are perverts. Chao He looked at Ning Cheng in doubt. He could tell that Ning Cheng did not have a good impression of the Severing Emotions Dao sect. However, he explained, Elder brother Ning is mistaken, there are not many genuine old virgins in the Severing Emotions Dao sect. Ning Cheng spoke up in a very puzzled manner. I heard that once a woman from the Severing Emotions Dao sect enters into dual cultivation with a man, then they would not be able to sever their emotions. For example, you and your wife, right? Chao He gave a sneer and spoke, Elder brother Ning, you do not know much about the Severing Emotions Dao sect, and think that they are fairies who do not eat the common food of the mortal world, and are very cautious about the matters between men and women. In fact, this was not the case at all. After the women of the Severing Emotions Dao sect had severed their emotions, and after they cultivated to a certain level, they would be like a bitch looking for opportunities to mate everywhere. They would never mate with the person they had severed their emotions from. Rather, they would look for a man they had no relation to mate with. After mating, the man would then be killed by the disciples of the Severing Emotions Dao sect. Very few people knew about this matter, because all the people who betrayed the Severing Emotions Dao sect were hunted down by the Severing Emotions Dao sect. Miaolei and I, if not for a fortuitous coincidence, would not have been able to escape to the Sifting Orchid Star. After Ning Cheng heard Chao He's words, he couldn't help but speak up. Is there really such a perverted academy? That's right, he is a pervert. Brother Ning's description is just too accurate. For them, chastity was not important at all. Yet they had to pretend to be prostitutes and cut their emotions. That Severing Emotions Dao sect's founding headmaster Su Binglan. And now that Su Anjin, which one of them doesn't have countless men? Senior apprentice brother, let's not talk about those things anymore. I am also a disciple of the Severing Emotions Dao sect. Seeing Chao He's words becoming more and more unpleasant to hear, Ban Miaolei pulled Chao He back. Chao He's anger being pulled back by Ban Miaolei immediately calmed down. He gave a sigh and spoke, Miaolei, you are no longer a disciple of the Severing Emotions Dao sect, and also do not cultivate the Severing Emotions cultivation method. The Severing Emotions Dao sect killed our daughter. I will eventually have to go back and take revenge. not knowing if it was to take care of his Dao companion's face, or because he felt that discussing these things did not have any meaning. After Chao He finished this sentence, he did not continue, and took the initiative to change the topic and spoke. After passing through this place, we will arrive at Yu Zheng's residence. Yu Zheng possesses a rank 4 imperial body, which would be of great help to us in this operation. That's right, Brother Ning was able to undergo body forging in the spatial turbulence, and is even able to walk at a speed that is not slower than us. Presumably you should at least have a rank 3 spiritual body, right? Ning Qing did not conceal it, and casually responded, but also did not explain that he possessed a rank 4 imperial body. That's for the best. Me and Miaolei also possess a rank 3 spiritual body, coupled with Yu Zheng who possesses a rank 4 imperial body. This operation should have a great chance of success. Chao He spoke in a very satisfied manner. He knew that his judgment was not wrong. Ning Cheng was at the soul essence 8th level, but since he could forge his body in the spatial turbulence, it meant that he had definitely reached the rank 3 spiritual body. Brother Chao, can you tell me about the situation of the fiery wind cliff? I have a plan as well. Ning Qing casually asked. He really was not afraid of Chao He and Ban Miaolei deceiving him, but if there was also Yu Zheng who he did not know anything about, then Ning Qing would have to be even more cautious in his heart. Chao He casually spoke up. Elder brother Ning does not need to worry. The entrance to the fiery wind cliff is just a fiery wind lava mist. If there were too few people, it would be impossible to enter. The more people there were, the easier it would be to enter. I only discovered this place by chance. Otherwise, even if I were beside the fiery wind rock, I wouldn't have been able to find the entrance. When Ning Cheng saw that Chao He did not speak in detail, he also no longer asked about the fiery wind cliff. However, Chao He was a wily old fox in the sifting orchid star. As such, he still had other things to ask. Brother Chao, I heard that the sifting orchid star has a lot of top-grade heavenly materials and earthly treasures. I even heard people say that there are heavenly cusp flowers and frost sprouts here. Chao He gave a chuckle and spoke. Frost sprouts definitely exist. Moreover, there are more than 1 or 2 frost sprouts in the sifting orchid star. As for the heavenly cusp flower, I heard that it also exists. It's just that these things, even if we know where they are, we do not have the ability to get them. Elder brother Chao, have you really heard of such a treasure? Ning Cheng suppressed the surprise in his heart and asked again. Ban Miaolei, who rarely spoke, glanced at Ning Cheng and took the initiative to speak up. I heard that the sifting orchid star's most terrifying poison mist thistles also contains the heavenly cusp flower. As for whether it is true or false, no one knows. Even if a crucible transformation cultivator were to go through the poison mist thistles, they would only end up dead. As for where the frost sprouts are, I do not know. However, even if the frost sprouts appear, it would definitely be in the extreme north of the sifting orchid star. When Ning Cheng heard about the poison mist thistles, he wanted to ask about the location of the poison mist thistles, but he did not know how to open his mouth. Ban Miaolei seemed to know Ning Cheng's thoughts, as she took out a jade strip and handed it to Ning Cheng and spoke. Elder brother Ning, this is a simple map of a part of the sifting orchid star. I bought it from someone else. Perhaps it would be of some help to you. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness swept into the jade strip, and immediately found the location of the poison mist thistles. This map could not be regarded as a simple map. For Ning Cheng, this jade strip could even be said to be a good treasure. Not only did it indicate a lot of places and locations, but it also indicated some of the possible spiritual objects. Many thanks, Senior Apprentice Sister Ban. This jade strip is very useful to me. Ning Cheng put away the jade strip, as he sincerely thanked her. Haha, Elder brother Ning does not need to be so polite. In the sifting orchid star, every once in a while there would be some exchanges. Some of the cultivators who stay in the sifting orchid star would exchange their experiences with each other, and exchange some things. The next exchange will be held at the Coiling Reef Summit in a year's time. If Elder brother Ning is interested, you can also come and have a look. Chao He gave a smile, as he waved his hand and spoke. Many thanks to the two of you. If I have the time, I will definitely go to the Coiling Reef Summit to have a look. Ning Cheng was overjoyed in his heart. He had cultivated to this day, so of course he knew that going into secluded cultivation alone and often discussing with others, the effect would be completely different. Elder brother Chow, senior apprentice sister Ban. How come you have the time to come here? A refreshing voice interrupted Ning Cheng's words. Immediately, Ning Cheng saw a male cultivator wearing a light gray robe descend. This male cultivator looked to be about the same age as him, and had the cultivation of soul sculpting 6th level. His long hair was casually tied behind his back, making him look extremely calm and at ease. Compared to the average-looking Chow Hei, this gray-robed cultivator was a lot more handsome. Who is this? The gray-robed cultivator on seeing Ning Cheng asked with some doubts. He and the Chow Hei couple were friends, but had never seen Ning Cheng before. Chow Hei laughed and spoke. Let me introduce you, Ning Cheng. This is the Yu Zheng that I was talking about. Elder brother Yu Zheng, this is Ning Cheng, a friend that I just met not too long ago. Yu Zheng was very polite. Seeing this, he quickly spoke up. Everyone, let's go to my place and sit down. I just happen to have a friend who just arrived. If elder brother Chow were to wait for a while, then I would have to leave this place. Yu Zheng on seeing Chow Hei and the others took the initiative to come out and greet them. Ning Cheng and the others followed Yu Zheng through the monitoring array formation, before arriving at Yu Zheng's immortal cave. Yu Zheng's immortal cave was built in a very strange manner, and was located in a huge rock. Moreover, the surrounding space was not very stable, causing Ning Cheng to suspect that a volcano would suddenly erupt or something. However, thinking that Yu Zheng was a rank 4 imperial body forging cultivator, even if a volcano suddenly erupted, it would not be able to do anything to Yu Zheng. Just as Yu Zheng said, a guest had already arrived at his residence. This was a soul sculpting 7th level cultivator, and his cultivation was not much different from Yu Zheng. He had a long face and a short beard, with slender eyes, and a strong violent aura emanating from his body, which reminded Ning Cheng of Qi Lo and Yenda. From this, it could be seen that this cultivator had stayed in the sifting orchid star for a long time. Moreover, he was also a newly advanced body forging cultivator, otherwise he would not have such a violent aura. Originally, it was Gongya Ingxiu's friend. The Chow Hei couple apparently knew this soul-sculpting cultivator with slender eyes. Yu Zheng knew that the Chow Hei couple knew Gongya Ingxiu. As such, he introduced Ning Cheng and Gongya Ingxiu to them. Gongya Ingxiu, on seeing that Ning Cheng only had the cultivation of soul essence 8th level, glanced at Ning Cheng with an indifferent look. He did not even nod his head. It was obvious that he did not put Ning Cheng in his eyes. Ning Cheng was brought here by Chow Hei, but Gongya Ingxiu treated Ning Cheng so coldly, which made Yu Zheng feel very embarrassed. He quickly spoke up. Brother Chow, if you had not come, then I would have immediately gone to the Moon Creek Pond with Brother Gongya. Now that Brother Chow has come, let's go together. Gongya Ingxiu frowned, but did not speak. Ning Cheng could clearly see that this person did not want to cooperate with him. Chow Hei gave a chuckle and spoke. I came here for a good thing. It doesn't matter if we go to the Moon Creek Pond later. I found a true polar bamboo sprout, and was looking for you to form a team. What? True polar bamboo sprout? Gongya Ingxiu and Yu Zheng almost simultaneously spoke out in shock. Chow Hei's words were just too shocking. Chapter 350. That's right, it is indeed the true polar bamboo sprout. When us husband and wife tried to go in, we were able to clearly see it. It's just that our strength is limited, so we can't rush to the innermost part. Even if he managed to rush in, there seemed to be a natural windfire array in the innermost part. If the two of you are interested, we can go there together. Chow Hei said affirmatively. Yu Zheng did not hesitate to agree. Of course I want to go, my body forging has already reached the peak of level 4, but I just can't break through. This thing is too important to me. I will also go with you. Gongya Ingxiu also did not hesitate for even half a moment. This thing was a treasure to anyone. Among the cultivators in the sifting orchid star, who would not go for body forging. Cultivators who did not temper their bodies simply could not survive in this place. That's good. I was worried that we might not have enough manpower, but now we have enough. Let's go now. Chow Hei clapped his hands and said. He didn't expect to find 5 people at once. In the sifting orchid star, if one was not very familiar with them, then no one would be willing to tell you the location of their lair. Because of this, He even wanted someone like Ning Cheng who only had the cultivation of soul essence realm. Of course, if he had known that Gongya Yingxiu was also here, then even if he met Ning Cheng, he would not have taken the initiative to call out to Ning Cheng. Gongya Yingxiu spoke up. Us 4 soul sculpting realm cultivators should be enough. Ning Cheng, on hearing this person's words, immediately became furious in his heart. He had not even spoken. Yet this person actually took the initiative to tell him not to go. That true polar bamboo sprout was not discovered by this fellow. As such, this Gongya Yingxiu was obviously not a good person. He gave a smile and spoke. The more we have, the more strength we would have. Besides, Brother Ning is the first person I met before. Let's all go together. Although he didn't say it clearly, everyone understood what he meant. That is, he couldn't do something like burning the bridge after crossing it. Before, when they needed Ning Cheng, they had brought him along. But now that they had enough manpower, they kicked him away. This was simply too much. Gongya Yingxiu did not know what to think, but he suddenly showed a faint smile and spoke. Good, the more people there are, the more strength there will be. Hearing Gongya Yingxiu agree to let Ning Cheng go together, he felt relieved. They were all very clear about Gongya Yingxiu's ability, so if he could join their squad, then their chances of success would increase by a lot. But then Gongya Yingxiu turned to Ning Cheng and spoke. This friend, in the sifting orchid star, everyone is in the same group. Elder brother Ning only has the cultivation of soul essence realm. For him to be able to enter the circle of soul sculpting realm, it must mean that he must have an astonishing cultivation. Don't let us down when the time comes. Everyone could hear the sarcasm in his voice. Ning Cheng finally understood why Chao He and the other people he was familiar with all had the cultivation of soul sculpting realm. It turned out to be because of their circle of friends. It seemed that no matter how dangerous a place was, as long as there were people, there would be Jianghu. Ning Cheng did not care about Gongya Yingxiu's ridicule, as he spoke out in a light tone. Gongya Yingxiu, you think too highly of yourself. I have never regarded you as a friend. I came here in a team with Brother Chao. You don't need to stick gold on your face. As for whether or not I have a shocking cultivation, what does that have to do with you? Gongya Yingxiu, on seeing Ning Cheng ridiculing him in such a manner, immediately wanted to attack. He also did not think that Ning Cheng's cultivation was not high, but he still had such a big temper, as he hastily tried to persuade him from the side. Everyone's team is only temporary. Once this team is over, whether we are friends or not, it is up to each of us to decide. There is no need for disputes. Gongya Yingxiu gave a cold snort. A murderous intent flashed in his eyes, but he did not continue to speak. Yu Zheng and He secretly sighed. The two of them were aware that Gongya Yingxiu had a murderous intent towards Ning Cheng, but they had no way to change this matter. It could only be said that Ning Cheng did not have a low cultivation awareness. This kind of person, no matter where he went, would sooner or later become a stepping stone for others. Ning Cheng could also feel Gongya Yingxiu's murderous intent, but he did not care about it at all. If his cultivation was not as good as the other party, then he would just have to pretend to be a grandson. Gongya Yingxiu was at the 7th level of soul sculpting realm. As such, Ning Cheng was not afraid of him. Why would he pretend to be a grandson? When he was at the early stages of the soul essence realm, he had already killed Yende, who was at the intermediate stages of the soul sculpting realm. Now that he was at the late stages of the soul essence realm, why would he be afraid of a late stages soul sculpting Gongya Yingxiu? Since that is the case, let's head over there early. Ban Miaolei interjected from the side. Everyone understood that she did not want the matter to escalate any further. Although the few of them were body-forging cultivators, their cultivations had not even reached the crucible transformation realm. As such, they could only move forward quickly on the ground. In a place like the sifting orchid star, ordinary cultivators would not dare to bring out their flight-type magical weapons to fly. After a full day, the 5 of them finally arrived outside a blazing hot stone forest. This stone forest was rugged and strange, with stones of various shapes and sizes, all of which were mixed together, making it impossible for people to see the situation inside. Bursts of heat waves assaulted them. Even spiritual consciousness would be greatly affected. As such, they could only guess that this place contained a huge volcano. Ning Cheng did not speak along the way. After following the rest of the people for a day, he came to know that when it came to familiarity with the terrain, he and the others were simply too far apart. Whether it was the Chao-He couple or Yu Zheng and Gongye Ingxiu, all of them were much more familiar with the terrain here compared to Shi Qionghua. Brother Chao, is this the place? I have also been here before, but did not find anything strange about it. Yu Zheng looked at the intertwined stone forest in doubt and spoke up. Chao-He stopped, and his expression turned serious as he spoke. I found that this place is not easy to find. More than a decade ago, I found a fragment of a high-grade defensive true artifact in the vicinity, which made me think that this place contained the immortal cave of a powerful cultivator. But unfortunately, even after searching for a long time, I still could not find it. After that, every time I passed by this place, I would always try my luck and come here to take a look. How is it? Gongye Ingxiu anxiously asked. It was obvious that he was more concerned about the belongings of a powerful cultivator, who possessed a high-grade defensive true artifact. Chao-He helplessly spoke up. I almost searched the entire place countless times, but still did not find anything. A month ago, I angrily blasted out an explosion blade. I did not expect that my explosion blade would actually burst out something. It turned out to be a very well-concealed natural concealment restriction. Miaolei and I spent more than half a month, and barely managed to enter the concealment restriction, only to find a large fire wind lava mist. Unfortunately, this large fire wind lava mist was too fierce. I barely managed to move forward halfway, and almost lost my life. However, I vaguely saw a few true polar bamboo sprouts inside. Moreover, there was also a fire wind array inside the true polar bamboo sprouts. After listening to Chao-He's words, not only did Yu Zheng and Gongye Ingxiu's eyes revealed a fiery glow, even Ning Cheng's heart was filled with eagerness. Once he obtained the true polar bamboo sprouts, then not only would he be able to advance to the soul sculpting realm, perhaps his body forging would also go a step further. Yu Zheng's expression seemed to be even better than Gongye Ingxiu's, as he directly spoke up. Since this place was discovered by Brother Chao, how do we obtain the true polar bamboo sprouts? Brother Chao can speak up. We will cooperate with you. Gongye Ingxiu also echoed. That's right, Brother Chao, you can speak up. This place is not only discovered by you, but your cultivation is also the highest. Ning Cheng, on seeing Gongye Ingxiu's disdainful gaze, was simply too lazy to even look at this person. Chao-He nodded and spoke. Since that is the case, then I will not be polite. I found that this place is not easy to find, so before we go in, I think it would be best for us to discuss the distribution plan. Although we are all friends, but this kind of thing, it would be better to make it clear. Then let's do it according to our cultivations. When the time comes, we will distribute it according to our cultivations. Gongye Ingxiu immediately replied his cultivation was the second highest in this place other than Chao-He. So according to the distribution of cultivations, he would not suffer even the slightest bit. Ning Cheng ridiculed from the side. Gongye Ingxiu, does that mean that you do not need to go in, and after you obtain the things, you will be given the second highest distribution? When did I say that I would not go in? You are just a trivial soul essence cultivator. You are not even qualified to participate in this treasure hunt. Gongye Ingxiu spoke out without any trace of politeness. Since he had already arrived here, and was already attracted by the true polar bamboo sprouts, why would he care about Ning Cheng? Even if Ning Cheng did not die, he would not be able to obtain a share of the true polar bamboo sprouts. Ban Miaolei suddenly spoke up. What Brother Ning said is not without reason. I think it would be better to distribute it according to how much effort each person put in. Seeing Ban Miaolei also speak up, Gongye Ingxiu also did not refute it. Ning Cheng clapped his hands and spoke. I agree with Senior Apprentice Sister Ban's distribution plan, but because the amount of effort put in is not clear. It would be better like this. After we go in, everyone will go all out. And when we encounter the true polar bamboo sprouts, everyone will also go all out to fight for it. No matter what is inside, whoever grabs it will be the one who gets it. However, Brother Chao is the one who discovered it and took the lead, so I suggest that no matter how much we obtain in the end, everyone should take out 1/10 of the true polar bamboo sprouts and give it to Brother Chao. Yu Zheng immediately spoke up. I agree with Brother Ning's words. This plan is very good. Brother Chow, what do you think? Chow He also spoke up in a very satisfied manner. I also agree. Saying that, Chow He glanced at Ning Cheng. This idea was put forward by Ning Cheng. In fact, Ning Cheng was the one who suffered the most in this distribution plan. After all, his cultivation was the lowest. But Gongye Ingxiu spoke up. What if there are other things inside other than the true polar bamboo sprouts? Chow He immediately spoke up. No matter what it is, it would be everyone's chance to obtain it. As for the true polar bamboo sprouts, it would be distributed according to Brother Ning's suggestion. Chow He's word set the tone for this operation, and no one dared to refute it. Ning Cheng also had a lot of appreciation for Chow He. It showed that this person was a very magnanimous person. Seeing that everyone had agreed, Chow He took the lead and walked into the blazing hot stone forest, while at the same time he turned around and spoke. Everyone, follow me. Chow He wandered around the stone forest for more than an hour, before he finally stopped in front of two incomparably huge stone pillars. These two stone pillars were mixed together, and looked as if they would break apart at any time. Ning Cheng was a Tier 7 array formation grandmaster. As such, he immediately felt the fluctuations of a natural array formation. It's here. If we bombard this place, it would reveal the entrance to the array formation. After entering, you would be able to see a fiery wind lava mist. As Chow He spoke, Ning Cheng had already seen the entrance. This was indeed a natural hidden entrance, but there were some artificial traces on the outside of the entrance. Ning Cheng felt that these traces were somewhat familiar to him. Attack. While Ning Cheng was still contemplating, Chow He was the first to bring out his magical weapon and attack. Chapter 351. With Chow He being the first to attack, the rest of the people immediately brought out their magical weapons. Ning Cheng also did not hesitate, and took out his own black iron rod. Hey Brother Ning, what kind of magical weapon is this? How come I can't feel any magical weapon fluctuations? Yu Zheng, on seeing Ning Cheng take out something that was neither a spear nor a rod, immediately asked in a strange voice. Ning Cheng smiled and spoke. I don't know what kind of magical weapon this is, but I can feel that it is harder than an average spiritual artifact. Although it cannot display magical fluctuations like an average magical weapon, but it is just right for me. An iron rod that was comparable to a spiritual artifact, even a fool would know that it was a good thing. Although Chow He and his wife had some envy in their eyes, but they did not care about it. After all, they had been wandering in the sifting orchid star for so many years, so they naturally had a few good things. Gongye Ingxiu sneered. He had already regarded Ning Cheng as a person he must kill, so he naturally would regard Ning Cheng's things as his own. The 5 people simultaneously attacked the hidden entrance, and in just over an hour, a fiery heat wave rushed out. Everyone knew that the entrance had opened. Chow He gave out a sigh and spoke. There is still strength in numbers. Initially Miaolei and I had to attack it for a few days before we were barely able to enter. Now let's go in together. After a while this entrance will automatically repair itself. Ning Cheng and the others followed Chow He into the entrance. Only then did they understand what the wind-fire magma mist was. A large waterfall of magma fell down in front of them, continuous and densely packed like a rain of magma. In the middle, there were also some fist-sized drops of magma mixed in. These magma rain mist hit the hard ground, turning into a torrent of magma. Without waiting for it to solidify, it disappeared into the cracks in the ground. A strong smell of smoke and sulfur filled the surroundings, making people suspect that this place would explode into pieces at any time. This layer of wind-fire magma mist is about a few dozen feet long. Although we are all body-forging cultivators, but we still have to prepare a defensive magical weapon. Once the magma mist hits our body, even if we do not die, we would still lose a layer of skin. Also, there are mountains on both sides of this magma mist. You must not touch them. In case you break these mountains, it is very likely that it would cause a volcanic eruption. At that time it would really be a dead end. Chow He saw everyone eager to try, and quickly reminded them. That is natural, there is definitely a hidden volcano here. Once this volcano is triggered, wouldn't that be courting death? Yu Zheng hurriedly said. Chow He nodded. Everyone, don't underestimate the fiery wind magma mist. Other than the magma mist, There are also fiery wind blades. Therefore, passing through this place was not only a requirement for body refinement. That's what I'm thinking. Let's each take out our magic treasures and block the lava together, forming a small safe space. In this way, the consumption of true essence is the least, and the distance forward is also the safest. Whether it was Yu Zheng or Gongye Ingxiu, both of them agreed with Qiao He's words. As for Ning Cheng's opinion, no one consulted him. Even Qiao He did not ask Ning Cheng. After all, Ning Cheng's cultivation was the lowest among them. Qiao He's magic weapon was a concave shield, while Ban Miaolei's magic weapon was a bell. Yu Zheng's defensive magical weapon was a huge stone door. It was unknown where Yu Zheng had obtained it. As for the defensive magical weapon that Gongye Ingxiu brought out, it was a high-grade spiritual artifact, a silver umbrella. In terms of defensive magical weapons, Gongye Ingxiu's defensive magical weapon was the most powerful in this place. Moreover, it also had the best effect. Ning Cheng did not want to bring out his defensive magical weapon, as he really did not have any defensive magical weapon. If he were to rush through this place by himself, he would have definitely brought out Qi Li's Black Dragon Flag. This Black Dragon Flag was not only a powerful offensive magical weapon, but it also had a good defensive effect. However, the grade of the Black Dragon Flag was too high, as it was a medium-grade true artifact. Ning Cheng himself did not like this magical weapon, but at the same time, taking out this magical weapon in this place was just too shocking. For a soul-sculpting cultivator, the Black Dragon Flag was much more popular than his iron rod. Even if the iron rod was of good quality, it was still just a material. If one could not find a top-notch artifact crafting grandmaster, then a material would just be a material, and would never be able to be turned into a magical weapon. Moreover, good artifact crafting grandmasters were even rarer than good materials. Now that Qiao He and the others were looking at him, he had no choice but to bring out a medium-grade spiritual artifact shield. For a soul essence 8th level cultivator, bringing out a medium-grade spiritual artifact shield was not a strange thing. Now let's bring out our magical weapons, and form a space where the magma mist cannot reach. I estimate that it would take at most 2 hours for us to reach the end. Qiao He spoke as he first brought out his concave shield into the wind-fire magma mist. Ning Cheng and the others also brought out their own defensive magical weapons, which resonated with Qiao He's concave shield. In just a short time, under the 5 people's defensive magical weapons, a large safe space was formed. In this space without the rain of magma, even if the temperature was high, the damage to the 5 people would be 0. Brother Chao's method is really good. Yu Zheng spoke out with appreciation. After the 5 people entered the magma mist, they found that the magma mist in front of them was very small, but behind them, it could not be called a magma mist, but rather a magma hailstorm. As the violent magma hailstorm bombarded their magical weapons, the 5 people had no choice but to fully stimulate their true essence and spiritual consciousness to resist. Although Gongye Ingxiu wanted to transfer the powerful bombardment from his silver umbrella to Ning Cheng's shield to plot against Ning Cheng, but now that the 5 of them had joined forces, if he tried to do so, it would immediately be noticed by others. For a time, he could only suppress his thoughts. As the 5 people moved forward, the pressure from the magma hailstorm kept increasing. Some of the magma wind and fire blades even passed through the defensive space arranged by the 5 people, before exploding on their bodies. Fortunately, they were all body-forging cultivators, so even if they were hit a few times, they would only suffer superficial injuries. A distance of a few dozen feet, while walking, felt like a distance of tens of thousands of miles. Every step they took was very difficult. Ning Cheng also estimated that if he was alone, even if he could pass through this place, he would have to pay a certain price. Qiao He's body forging cultivation was a level lower compared to him, so it was normal for him to not be able to pass through it. Besides, even if Qiao He passed through it, he would not be able to break the wind-fire grand array in front of him. After 2 hours, the few people could finally see the wind-fire grand array in front of them. Sure enough, as Qiao He had said, at the edge of the wind-fire grand array, there were 4 or 5 fiery red spiritual grasses. Ning Cheng had not seen the true polar bamboo sprout, but he guessed that it must be the true polar bamboo sprout. It really is the true polar bamboo sprout. Yu Zheng spoke in a pleasantly surprised voice, but he had not yet finished his sentence when a huge magma stone fell down. The huge bombardment force slammed into the defensive magical artifact arranged by the 5 people, causing the space within the defensive magical artifact to shatter with a kacha sound. Everyone immediately rushed to the side of the wind-fire grand array. There is no magma hailstorm there. Chao He spoke as he took a step forward. Ban Miaolei apparently was not the first time she had come here, as she also rushed to the safe zone with her fastest speed. Yu Zheng was the third to rush up, while Gongya Yingxiu deliberately stood in front of Ning Cheng, while simultaneously using his hind legs to create a true essence fluctuation. He guessed that Ning Cheng at most had a rank 3 spiritual body. Once the rest of the people joined hands, then this magma flow would definitely take him away. It would be a 9 out of 10 chance of survival situation. What's more, he deliberately used his hind legs to plot against Ning Cheng. Once Ning Cheng died, he would at most help to retrieve Ning Cheng's corpse, and then obtain Ning Cheng's things. Even if Ning Cheng did not die, in this case he would lose all his face. Ning Cheng saw that Gongya Yingxiu clearly could have taken the lead in front of Yu Zheng, but instead chose to fall behind. How could he not understand Gongya Yingxiu's thoughts? Ning Cheng was very clear that even if he was squeezed to the back, this magma hailstorm would not be able to take his life. After all, he was a body-forging cultivator with an imperial body. Although this magma hailstorm was powerful, at most it would only take away his clothes. However, Ning Cheng was never a person who did not fight back. He immediately understood Gongya Yingxiu's thoughts the moment he saw Gongya Yingxiu fall behind. Ning Cheng did not wait for Gongya Yingxiu to make the first move, and threw out a few array flags in an extremely covert manner. A simple binding array formation was arranged by Ning Cheng in the shortest time possible, while Ning Cheng also quickly wielded the twin wings of the heavenly clouds. At this time, Gongya Yingxiu's hind legs brought out a burst of true essence, which swept towards the place where Ning Cheng had just stood. Chao He couple and Yu Zheng rushed to the safe zone, and did not pay attention to Ning Cheng bringing out the array flags, while simultaneously wielding the twin wings of the heavenly clouds. They also did not notice the sneak attack from Gongya Yingxiu's hind legs. When Gongya Yingxiu found that he had swept an empty space, he immediately noticed that the surrounding space seemed to have turned viscous. At this moment, Gongya Yingxiu no longer paid attention to Ning Cheng, as he instantly broke free from the viscous binding space. Bang! A muffled explosion resounded, as Gongya Yingxiu's personal defensive shield finally shattered completely. A magma hailstorm descended, and Gongya Yingxiu was instantly shredded by the magma hailstorm, looking like a naked red pig. If not for his body-forging cultivation reaching the rank 4 imperial body, Gongya Yingxiu would have died without a doubt. Plop! The battered and exhausted Gongya Yingxiu no longer cared about anything else, as he crazily rushed towards the safety of the fiery wind array. "Brother Gongya, are you all right?" Yu Zheng quickly asked. He did not think that the one who almost did not make it was not Ning Cheng, but Gongya Yingxiu. Ning Cheng, however, stood on the side safe and sound. Although when Ning Cheng came up, he still had the opportunity to collect a true polar bamboo sprout, but Ning Cheng did not try to grab that true polar bamboo sprout, because Yu Zheng had already collected a true polar bamboo sprout. Chao He did not make a move. As for the remaining 4 true polar bamboo sprout, Ban Miaolei had already collected them. Chao He, of course, knew that Ning Cheng had deliberately allowed his Dao companion to collect them, so he gave Ning Cheng a grateful look. Then he saw Gongya Yingxiu, who looked like a red pig. When Ban Miaolei saw Gongya Yingxiu's ugly appearance, she quickly turned her head away with a red face. Gongya Yingxiu knew that he had lost a lot of face, so he immediately took out a set of robes and put them on, before pointing at Ning Cheng and cursing, "Surnamed Ning, you dare to plot against me." Ning Cheng spoke with disdain. "You're a pig. I came up before you. In the end, who plotted against whom?" Only Gongya Yingxiu understood the meaning of the words "in the end who plotted against whom." Chapter 352. Chao He had a good impression of Ning Cheng. Moreover, Gongya Yingxiu had unexpectedly lost face in front of his Dao companion, which made him feel very dissatisfied. He frowned and spoke. "Since everyone is fine, we should now join forces to break this wind and fire grand array." Since there are several true polar bamboo sprouts outside the wind and fire grand array, then there must be even more inside. Gongya Ingxiu was not a fool. As soon as he heard Chao He's words, he immediately understood that the other party had a problem with him. He could only suppress his anger towards Ningcheng, as he was not in a hurry to deal with Ningcheng. However, Ningcheng spoke up. This wind and fire grand array is already broken. We can go in directly. Ningcheng spoke as he took the lead to enter the grand array, and soon disappeared. Seeing Ningcheng enter the grand array without any damage, Chao He and Yu Zheng immediately sobered up and quickly rushed into the grand array. Sure enough, after they entered the grand array, they did not suffer any damage from the wind or fire. The wind and fire grand array was unexpectedly broken, causing the two of them to feel overjoyed. They had already guessed that Gongya Ingxiu should have been plotted against by Ningcheng. Ningcheng could see at a glance that this wind and fire grand array was broken. It definitely indicated that this person was an array formation master. Going against an array formation master, if it was not courting death, then what was it? However, at this time they did not care about these things. What was inside the wind and fire grand array was the most important thing. As soon as Ningcheng entered the wind and fire grand array, he arrived at a place filled with incomparably rich spiritual qi. There were at least 100 true polar bamboo sprouts spread out in front of him. Ningcheng suppressed the ecstasy in his heart, and directly swept away 60% of the 100 true polar bamboo sprouts. However, he did not completely sweep them away, because Yu Zheng and Chao He had already come in behind him. Since they had joined forces, they could not eat alone. Ningcheng quickly passed through the area filled with true polar bamboo sprouts, and was immediately greeted by a huge flat stone. What surprised Ningcheng was that there was a dried corpse sitting on top of this flat stone, and in front of the dried corpse was a jade strip and an array disc. Ningcheng took a step forward and grabbed the jade strip. He did not look at the jade strip, and first put away the ring on the dried corpse. At this time, Chao He and the other 3 people also quickly walked in, as the 4 people simultaneously saw the dried corpse. Brother Chao, this person is definitely the one who left behind the high-grade true artifact. There should be many good things in his ring. Gongya Ingxiu, on seeing that the dried corpse did not have a ring on it, immediately spoke up. Everyone knew that he was adding oil to the fire, and wanted Chao He to kill Ningcheng. In fact, Chao He and the others also felt regret. If they had known that the grand array of wind and fire was a broken array formation, then they would have come in first. They did not expect that Ningcheng, who had the lowest cultivation among them, would have snatched the first place. Ningcheng's spiritual consciousness had already fallen onto the jade strip. Uxian of this family. When Ningcheng saw these 4 words, he was shocked. Uxian. Wasn't he Qionghua's uncle Yu? Hadn't he already left the sifting orchid star to look for Qionghua's parents? Why are you still here? The next moment, a thin layer of sweat appeared on Ningcheng's forehead. What if someone had plotted against Shi Qianghua? Brother Ning, what is on the jade strip? Yu Zheng took the initiative to ask. Ningcheng spoke up in a deep voice. This fallen senior was an old friend of my wife. I didn't expect him to fall in this place. Your wife is also in the sifting orchid star? Yu Zheng asked in amazement. Ningcheng nodded. Yes, my wife was indeed with me in the sifting orchid star, but she had left the sifting orchid star. Gongya Ingxiu gave a cold snort. What a coincidence, just a random dead powerhouse. You actually managed to get a relative. He felt very uncomfortable in his heart, because he was the last one to enter the grand array. So until now he had only obtained 3 true polar bamboo sprouts. Ningcheng put away the jade strip, and did not even look at Gongya Ingxiu. He did not feel the need to explain anything to this person. Since we all came in together as a team, the true polar bamboo sprouts are not many, but now that there is a powerhouse here, I was wondering if we should also take out this powerhouse's things and share it with him? Letting one person have it, isn't it too much? Gongya Ingxiu stared at Ningcheng with dissatisfaction. This time, the Chao He trio did not speak. Even if they had previously agreed that each of them would get their own things. But Ningcheng was the first to come in, and he alone obtained the ring of this powerhouse. It was indeed a bit unbalanced. Ningcheng did not continue to look at the jade strip. He put away the jade strip and spoke. So you want to go back on your previous agreement? Brother Chow, Brother Yu, Senior Apprentice Sister Ban, what do you think? If several people wanted to deal with him at the same time, Ningqing decided to leave first. He had the twin wings of the heavenly clouds, so he had already calculated the route to get out. As for the fiery wind magma fog passage, he believed that he could also cross it. Moreover, Ningqing believed that these people would not dare to start. This place was the mouth of a volcanic eruption. Who would dare to start a fight in this place? Even he would not dare to start a fight in this place. Chow He took a deep breath and slowly spoke. I have been in the Sifting Orchid Star for nearly 20 years, and have made many friends here. I, Chow He, always pay attention to the word trust. Since we have already agreed on the distribution plan, I will not overturn it. Regardless of what Brother Ning obtains, or how he obtained it, it is his own opportunity. I have no opinion on it. Yu Jing showed a faint smile and spoke. I have the same idea as Brother Chow. Ban Miaolei did not need to answer. Chow He's meaning was obviously her meaning. Ning Cheng had not picked up the true polar bamboo sprouts before, causing her to have a slightly better impression of Ning Cheng in her heart. Moreover, they were not fools. No one knew that the fiery wind array formation contained a large number of true polar bamboo sprouts. With Ning Cheng's cultivation, with just a wave of his hand, he could easily take away 100 true polar bamboo sprouts. However, Ningcheng did not do so. Gongye Ingxiu, on seeing that no one followed him to deal with Ningcheng, also did not continue to speak. He believed that he could inquire about Ningcheng's residence, and would kill Ningcheng sooner or later. After killing Ningcheng, everything would belong to him, and there would be no need to share it with others. This time's harvest is generally good, and everyone's cooperation is also very good. When we go out, it is much easier compared to when we came in. We also do not need to continue to cooperate. Chow He finished speaking and looked at Ningcheng. After all, Ningcheng's cultivation was the lowest. If Ningcheng needed help, then he would not mind helping Ningcheng. Ningcheng took the initiative to take out 6 true polar bamboo sprouts and handed them to Chow He before speaking. Brother Chow, this time it was all thanks to you. Without your help, I would not have been able to find Uncle Yu's body. Moreover, I would not have been able to obtain so many true polar bamboo sprouts. These are what we had agreed on before. Seeing Ningcheng take out 6 true polar bamboo sprouts at once, everyone knew that Ningcheng had obtained the most true polar bamboo sprouts during this time's cooperation. Good, then I will not be polite. Chow He put away the true polar bamboo sprouts that Ningcheng had handed to him, which was also what they had agreed on before. Chow He and the others went out, while Ningcheng took out a pile of spirit stones, and quickly refined a simple spirit stone coffin, before placing Uncle Yu's body inside the spirit stone coffin. At the same time, he also took a simple transfer array disc from Uncle Yu's body. When Ningcheng came out, he found that Chow He and the others had not yet entered the magma fog. Brother Ning, we are going to the Moon Creek Pond. Would Brother Ning like to come with us? Yu Jing took the initiative to speak. Ningcheng did not ask about the good things inside the Moon Creek Pond, and spoke up. My cultivation is a bit low, so I am going to go into seclusion for a while. Therefore, I will not be going to the Moon Creek Pond. I wish you good luck. Ningcheng was eager to go back and find out the reason why Uncle Yu stayed in this place. As such, he simply did not have the heart to continue looking for things. Hearing that Ningcheng was not going, Chow He and the others also did not speak much. Only Gongye Ingxiu's eyes were filled with uncertainty. He had hoped that Ningcheng would come with them, but since the other party did not want to go, he could not force it. This is my communication pearl message. Chow He took the initiative to leave a communication pearl message for Ningcheng. Ningcheng did not have any acquaintances in the Sifting Orchid Star, so he also left a communication pearl message for Chow He and Yu Jing, before he was the first to rush into the magma fog. It looks like his body forging is at least a rank 4 imperial body. Ban Miaolei looked at Ningcheng wrapped in a black shadow as he disappeared into the magma fog. Yu Jing spoke up with certainty. He truly has a rank 4 imperial body, there is no doubt about it. Moreover, I am afraid that his methods are not bad. He is also an array formation master. This kind of person has huge potential. It is best not to offend him. Chow He knew that Yu Jing was speaking to Gongye Ingxiu, but he did not interrupt. He was also clear about Gongye Ingxiu's character. With such a person like Gong Yangxiu, if he did not look for trouble with Ningcheng, then it would truly be strange. Ningcheng knew that Gong Yangxiu had placed a spiritual consciousness tag on him, but he really did not have the energy to look for trouble with Gong Yangxiu. For him, the most important thing right now was Qionghua's safety. Otherwise, with Ningcheng's temper, he would have already looked for a good place to arrange an array formation and wait for Gong Yangxiu to die. Ningcheng, in order to quickly rush out of this place, even brought out the shadow of the Blue Thunder City. With the shadow of the Blue Thunder City, coupled with the twin wings of the heavenly clouds, Ningcheng only spent half an incense stick worth of time to rush out of the magma fog area. A day later, Ningcheng once again returned to his residence at the bottom of the canyon. The first thing he did after opening the stone door was to take out 3 things: the jade strip left by Uncle Yu, the ring, and the small transfer array disc. My family's Uxian, after you obtain my inheritance, I will give you everything, but please deliver this message to my family's young Miss Shi Qianghua for me. The following message had some restrictions covering it, but for an array formation master like Ningcheng, these restrictions were not difficult for him. It only took him an incense stick worth of time to unlock the restrictions and see the following content. Young Miss, since you saw this old servant's jade strip, presumably this old servant has already fallen. In the past, this old servant was trapped in a place and was delayed for several years. When I returned to my residence, young Miss was no longer there. This old servant wanted to wait for young Miss to come back, but fate had already arrived. This old servant wanted to use the 100 true polar bamboo sprouts in the fiery wind cliff to break through the shackles and go up another level. Unfortunately, I was powerless to reverse the situation. Before this old servant went to the fiery wind cliff, I set up a transfer array disc here. Once I could not come back, I would use the space-cleaving talisman to come back, but in the end, I really could not come back. The reason why this old servant wanted young Miss to leave immediately was because the sifting orchid star could explode at any time, making it impossible for us to survive. If we stay here, we will turn to dust together with the sifting orchid star. Ningcheng was shocked. The sifting orchid star exploding? If that was the case, he would be dead if he stayed here. He stood up and walked to the place where Shi Qianghua had taken the space-cleaving talisman. Sure enough, he found a hidden transfer array here, but he did not care about it at that time. Shi Qianghua must have put all her attention on the jade strip, as such did not care about it. Chapter 353. This void-cleaving talisman was something that this old servant obtained by chance in the sifting orchid star. This old servant has never been to the Qinwu city, but it was something that the powerhouse who left behind the void-cleaving talisman had said. This star continent is a safe place. In the future, if young lady is able to obtain this jade slip from this old servant, you will understand. If I can't get it, as long as Miss can leave this place, this old servant will die without regrets. After a long time, Ningcheng put down the jade strip that he had finished reading and remained silent. He finally understood what was going on. He did not know where Uncle Yu had obtained the news that the sifting orchid star might explode, which was why he was so anxious to let Shi Qianghua leave. However, Shi Qianghua was not in her residence for the time being. Moreover, Uncle Yu did not have much lifespan left. He wanted to use the nearly 100 strains of true polar bamboo sprouts from the fiery wind cliff to break through the bottleneck, but unfortunately he ultimately failed. In desperation, Uncle Yu could only leave behind a void-cleaving talisman that he had obtained for Shi Qianghua. In any case, there was no doubt about Uncle Yu's loyalty to the Shi clan, which made Ningcheng feel slightly relieved in his heart. He currently did not have the ability to look for Shi Qianghua. As such, he could only suppress this matter in his heart. Putting away the jade strip, Ningcheng picked up Uncle Yu's ring. The restrictions on the ring were even simpler. There were only tens of thousands of high-grade spirit stones and a few jade slips inside. There was nothing special about it. He estimated that the truly good things had already been left behind by Uncle Yu for Shi Qianghua. As for where it was placed, it was estimated that Shi Qianghua would find it when she arrived at the Qinwu city. What made Ningcheng even more shocked was that he unexpectedly saw a flying saucer in the corner of the ring without any spiritual power fluctuations. The flying saucer was completely black and emitted a metallic aura. When Ning Cheng saw the workmanship, he immediately knew that this was definitely not something that could be produced through refining methods, but rather something that was built by a technological civilization. Ning Cheng had not been in the Yixing mainland for a short time, and after cultivating for such a long time, he could also be considered as a powerhouse in his own right. In his mind, a technological civilization and a cultivation civilization were two completely different things. It was absolutely impossible for a place to cultivate and develop technology at the same time. Even if it was the Yixing mainland's technology, it was only based on the true cultivation foundation's sound jade tablets, or some array formation screens and the like. Without exception, all of these technologies were built on the foundation of cultivation, and all of them required the coordination of formations. But now he actually found a flying saucer in Uncle Yu's ring. This was simply too shocking. Ning Cheng immediately entered his miniature world. The room he was in was too small. As such, he was unable to check the condition of the flying saucer. Inside the miniature world, Ning Cheng waved his hand and took out the black flying saucer. The black flying saucer was about 30 meters in diameter, which was equivalent to 1/3 of a football field. The flying saucer did not have a single entrance on its entire body. Moreover, there was even a layer of spiritual consciousness blocking material on the outside. Even Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness could not sweep through it. Grey Toot Toot, for the first time, rushed to the side of the flying saucer and shouted loudly towards the flying saucer, and then repeatedly wagged its tail at Ning Cheng. "Do you know what this thing is?" Ning Cheng looked at Grey Toot Toot in doubt. Grey Toot Toot shook its head and wagged its tail, but unfortunately it could not speak, nor could it communicate with Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng approached the flying saucer and reached out his hand to touch it. This flying saucer's entire body was icy cold, and he was sure that it was made out of metal. Moreover, it was indeed built by a factory, and not refined by a cultivator. Although Ning Cheng was a university student studying science and technology, but he did not understand anything about this flying saucer. "Grey Toot Toot, study this thing well. If there is a way to open it, then immediately tell me." Ning Cheng patted Grey Toot Toot's head. Saying that, Ning Cheng withdrew from the miniature world and took out the few jade strips. As for whether Grey Toot Toot could open it or not, Ning Cheng simply did not care about it. He wanted to find something for Grey Toot Toot to do, and not let this fellow wander around the few strains of 8th-level spiritual grasses that he had. The first jade strip was a cultivation method jade strip left behind by Uncle Yu, although it was of a very high grade, but Ning Cheng did not have any interest in it. The second jade strip was a recording jade strip, but it was somewhat blurred. Ning Cheng carefully examined it with his spiritual consciousness. Only then was he able to make out some of its contents. The general meaning was that the Green Slope City was besieged by its enemies, and the city master knew that the situation was hopeless, so he let the matriarch escape with the little miss. However, the matriarch wanted to live and die together with the city master, so after tearing open a crack in the spatial space, she ordered an old servant to take the little miss and escape. Ning Cheng guessed that the city master must be Shi Qianghua's father, and the matriarch should be her mother, while the old servant should be Uncle Yu. No wonder Shi Qianghua's mother did not come out. It turned out that she was together with Shi Qianghua's father. This was a woman who was incomparably loyal to her husband, causing Ning Cheng's favorable impression of this mother-in-law to soar. Ning Cheng put down the jade strip and picked up the next jade strip. As soon as Ning Cheng held this jade strip in his hands, he immediately felt that something was wrong. This jade strip unexpectedly contained faint soul fluctuations. Ning Cheng had already experienced the matter with Fang Jian. As such, he was able to detect this kind of soul fluctuations in the first place. He quickly found out that this jade strip contained a piece of soul-nourishing wood, and found that the soul-nourishing wood unexpectedly contained 2 faltering soul fluctuations. "Who are you?" A weak voice resounded in Ning Cheng's consciousness. "I am naturally the one who obtained this jade strip, but I find it very strange. Who are the 2 of you?" Ning Cheng really could not understand why there were 2 soul essence souls inside a piece of soul-nourishing wood. These 2 soul essence souls were incomparably weak. As such, Ning Cheng was not afraid of these 2 fellows. The voice from the most left corner of the soul-nourishing wood immediately spoke up. This old man is Xian Zimo. The voice from the right corner also replied in a somewhat weak voice, You Xian. You are Uncle Yu, you did not die? Ningqing asked in shock. The voice from the right side immediately raised a bit, and asked in a surprised voice, Why do you call me Uncle Yu? Hey, this is Little Miss's immortal cave. What happened to Qianghua? What did you do to Little Miss? His tone was extremely anxious, and even changed the way he addressed Ningqing a few times. If not for him being extremely weak, perhaps he would have already come out and grabbed Ningqing's clothes. Uncle Yu, you do not have to worry. If I had any malicious intent towards you, I would not have called you Uncle Yu. You two are just two weak soul essences. I do not even put you in my eyes. Ningqing comforted him with a few words. For a cultivator like Uncle Yu who was loyal to his master, Ningqing still had a lot of respect for him. He also seemed to feel that Ningqing's words were not wrong. If Ningqing really had any malicious intent, then he was just a weak soul essence soul, which simply did not matter to the overall situation. Can this friend please tell me, how is Little Miss now? Uncle Yu's tone calmed down a bit, but was still somewhat anxious. I am Qianghua's husband. We are already married. After she got your message, she used the void-cleaving talisman to leave. Ningqing quickly explained. Little Miss is married? Uncle Yu spoke out in surprise. After a moment he laughed and spoke. The son-in-law is a bit weak, but as long as Little Miss is fine, it's fine. His tone became lower and lower, as if he no longer had any worries, and finally disappeared without a trace. Ningqing was shocked in his heart. Did he just die like this? You can rest assured he did not die, he just fell into an unconscious state. Death is only a matter of time. That weak voice called Xian Zimo spoke out. Who are you? Ningqing's spiritual consciousness fell on the soul essence on the left side. Ningqing's incomparably powerful spiritual consciousness caused this weak soul essence to shiver. He even thought that if this body could be given to him, it would be much better. Unfortunately, he could only think about it. You Xian found my remains, and obtained my things. That void-cleaving talisman is also mine. I originally wanted to take over you Xian's body, but unfortunately I was too weak, while this fellow is also not bad. As a result the two of us ended up in a stalemate, and in the end, neither of us could do anything to the other. Now that you Xian's corporeal body is useless, the two of us can only hide here and wait for death. Xian Zimo spoke with a sigh, his tone was getting weaker and weaker. Ningqing shook his head. You Xian's body was like an old dry wood. How could someone want to take over his body? Let's make a deal. You can seal this jade strip containing both my and you Xian's soul essence with the soul-nourishing wood. In the future, if you can go to the Qinwu city and hand over my fallen soul essence to the Xian clan, I am willing to give you the rank 5 battle disc. Xian Zimo spoke while gasping for breath. Ningqing almost could not feel the last few words. Rank 5 battle disc? Ningqing had never heard of such a thing. He then asked, What kind of city is the Qinwu city? Is there any danger? Compared to the flying saucer built by a technological civilization, Ningqing was more concerned about Shi Qianghua's safety. In Ningqing's view, even if the technological civilization was more powerful, it could not be compared to the true cultivators. It seemed that these few words had consumed all of Xian Zimo's strength, although his soul essence was still fluctuating, but he did not have the intention to speak again. Ningqing waited for nearly half an hour, before he helplessly spoke. Well, I will help you this time. As long as I can go to the Qinwu city, I will help you. Tell me if the Qinwu city is safe, and where it is, and how will you give me the battle disc? Ningqing's words had just finished, when a palm-sized jade card engraved with runes fell in front of Ningqing. But Xian Zimo's soul essence was the same as Uncle Yu's from before, as it had completely sunk into oblivion. The two old soul essences that had tried to take over the body had almost perished together in a fight. Ningqing shook his head, before taking out a piece of soul-nourishing wood, and refining it into a sealing array talisman, completely sealing the jade strip. Fortunately, he was a talisman master, and also had the soul-nourishing wood. This soul-nourishing wood was something that he had obtained in the Mingatsi area in the past. He did not expect that he would be able to use it today. Ningqing took the palm-sized talisman jade card in his hands, as he swept it with his spiritual consciousness, and soon understood what was going on. This was a flying saucer controlling jade card, allowing him to use his spiritual sense to easily break the original spiritual sense mark and implant his own spiritual sense into it. At the same time, Ningqing also came to know from the jade card that this rank 5 battle disc really was a product of a technological civilization. Moreover, it could also fire spirit stone cannons. Ningqing quickly lost interest in this thing. It was something that was built on an assembly line. At best, it was only a bit more powerful than the fighter jets on Earth. Rather than wasting time on this, it would be better to seize the time to cultivate and undergo body forging. Now that he had obtained more than 50 strains of true polar bamboo sprouts, it would be best for him to attack the soul sculpting realm as soon as possible. As for Uncle Yu saying that this place could explode at any time, Ningqing did not care much about it. Uncle Yu had already said that this place would explode at any time, but even now it had not exploded. Moreover, he did not have any other place to go at the moment. Chapter 354. This time, Ningqing directly took out the broken crystal stone. He wanted to rush to the soul sculpting realm in one go. Originally, because Ningqing's progress had slowed down, he had stopped using the broken crystal stones for cultivation. Once again using the broken crystal stone to cultivate, Ningqing found that the speed at which he absorbed the spiritual qi had once again become much faster. Ningqing quickly understood what was going on. After the rich spiritual qi was absorbed, it was digested and absorbed in the shortest possible time. This was definitely related to his physical body becoming stronger. Previously, although he could absorb spiritual energy very quickly, he couldn't reach this level. This obviously showed that along with the rise of his body refinement cultivation, the speed of his cultivation rose along with it. Catcha! The broken crystal stone in Ningqing's hand turned into powder. While Ningqing's cultivation had already reached the peak of the soul essence realm, Ningqing stood up in satisfaction. The broken crystal stone that this old fart had given him was really useful. Without this broken crystal stone, even if he had the help of the mysterious yellow origin, even if his cultivation speed was fast, he would not be able to reach the great circle of the soul essence realm in such a short period of time. The only regret was that he had finally used up the crystal today. It did not matter if he could not obtain the pills to advance to the soul sculpting realm, as he already had the true polar bamboo sprout. This time, he would have to rely on the true polar bamboo sprout to attack the soul sculpting realm. Unfortunately, he did not have the assistance of the thoughtless ice flower. Previously, he was worried about Shi Qionghua's safety, and had forgotten to ask Chao He where he could obtain the thoughtless ice flower. Even without the thoughtless ice flower, Ningqing still intended to give it a try. In any case, he had a lot of true polar bamboo sprouts, so even if he failed, he could always look for the thoughtless ice flower next time. In order to cross the tribulation in the sifting orchid star, Ningqing did not dare to look for a place where volcanoes would erupt. Instead, he walked all the way to the north for a few days before he found a large snow-capped mountain top. Taking out a pile of spirit stones, he arranged a huge spiritual gathering array around him, as Ningqing prepared to attack the soul sculpting realm. Whether it was his body or his sea of consciousness, they had both reached an unprecedented level of strength. When he absorbed spiritual energy, it was like a huge dragon absorbing water. Layers upon layers of spirit stones turned into fine powder, forming layers upon layers of spiritual qi mist that rushed towards Ning City. Ningqing's body was accumulating more and more spiritual qi, while the amount of true essence he was transforming into was also increasing. Even if that was the case, he simply could not touch the barrier to the soul sculpting realm, not to mention breaking through it. If only he had the void cleaving pill, it would have been much better. Ningqing sighed, and took out a true polar bamboo sprout. Since he did not have the void cleaving pill, he could only use the true polar bamboo sprout that was not neutralized by any medicine. Ningqing directly swallowed the true polar bamboo sprout, causing a refreshing feeling to rise from the bottom of his heart. He had thought that the true polar bamboo sprout would need to be neutralized by the thoughtless ice flower, and since it grew in the crevices of the magma, then it would definitely be an incomparably hot spiritual grass. He had never thought that it would actually have this kind of taste. It was as refreshing as mint, making people feel comfortable all over. It was like swimming in a lake in summer. This kind of feeling was really good. Ningqing thought about it for a moment, before taking out 2 strains of true polar bamboo sprouts and swallowing them down. The coolness in his heart increased and quickly spread throughout his entire body. This comfortable feeling almost made Ningqing forget that he still had to attack the soul-sculpting realm, as he took out 2 more true polar bamboo sprouts and prepared to swallow them. At this time, Ningqing suddenly felt all the meridians in his body making a bang sound, as if a barrel of gunpowder had been ignited. A group of flame-like airflow exploded from all over his body. The coolness from before was like pouring gasoline in advance. Now it was just igniting the gasoline. That refreshing feeling completely disappeared and was replaced by an extremely terrifying burning sensation. This feeling was just like drinking poison to quench one's thirst. Ningqing simply could not regret eating 3 strains of true polar bamboo sprouts in a row. Under this kind of incomparably terrifying burning power, it would not take long for his entire body to turn to ashes from the inside out. If not for his body-forging realm reaching rank 4 imperial body, he would have already turned to ashes at this moment. The mysterious yellow bead also began to rapidly rotate, as a mysterious yellow origin rushed out, dispersing into the meridians of Ningqing's body. Unfortunately, the mysterious yellow origin could not put out the fire, nor could it stop the burning. The tearing pain and suffering caused Ningqing's entire face to distort. Ningqing firmly held onto his spiritual platform. He knew that he had to calm down. If he did not calm down at this time, then he would only die a bit faster. Ningqing operated the body-forging cultivation method, while at the same time barely controlled the terrifying burning heat to attack the barrier to the soul-sculpting realm. A bloody mist oozed out from the surface of Ningqing's body. It even contained a trace of the aura of flames. It was not that Ningqing had never experienced flames burning within his body before. Initially, when he used his yang qi to incinerate his body, he had also experienced the burning of flames. However, that kind of burning of flames only burned his golden core, but at this time, every part of his body was covered in burning waves of heat. Ningqing stood at the top of the snowy mountain. The thick snow under his feet began to melt faster and faster, just like a mountain of firewood that had been set ablaze, extending outwards. Bouts of weakness washed over him. Even his bones began to melt, causing Ningqing's heart to gradually sink. He knew that he was too rash. At this time he began to prepare the underworld soul flower. In case he really fell, he could then entrust a trace of his soul to the underworld soul flower. Boom! 2 different kinds of true essence flows collided with each other within Ningqing's body, and instantly mixed together into one. The burning waves of heat seemed to have been suppressed at this moment. Ningqing's heart was filled with happiness, as he hurriedly sped up the flow of the mixed true essence flows. The next moment Ningqing understood what was going on. When he was undergoing body forging before, he had always been thinking about whether or not he could fuse the body forging cultivation method and the cultivation method together. However, he had never succeeded. He did not expect that at this critical moment, he would actually succeed. His body forging cultivation method and the cultivation method, at this moment, completely fused together, forming a new heavenly circulation cultivation method. The powerful heavenly circulation aura, with each circulation of the heavenly circulation aura, would take away part of the burning hot flames in his body, causing the tearing pain to no longer be as terrifying as before. At this time, Ningqing did not hesitate for even half a moment, as he crazily revolved his own cultivation method. The moment the source of the burning hot flames in his body was almost taken away, Ningqing unexpectedly felt the barrier to the soul-sculpting realm. He did not hesitate to roll up all the burning hot power in his body and explode towards it. Poof! A mouthful of blood spurted out, as the power that Ningqing brought with him exploded on top of the barrier to the soul-sculpting realm, causing Ningqing's internal organs, and even his meridians and dantian to almost tumble upside down. The burning hot aura completely disappeared, causing Ningqing to feel that whether it was his cultivation or his body forging, both had taken a big step forward. Now that he had a way to suppress the true polar bamboo sprouts, Ningqing did not hesitate, as he once again took out 2 strains of the true polar bamboo sprouts and swallowed them down. He had already suffered for such a long time. If he gave up now, then it would truly be a pity. This time, Ning Cheng was prepared. As such, after the cool aura passed by, it was immediately greeted by a terrifying wave of burning hot flames. However, this time the wave of fire brought by the true polar bamboo sprout was unable to continue to burn Ning Cheng's internal organs. Instead, under the operation of Ning Cheng's new cultivation method, it swept up and directly exploded on top of the barrier to the soul-sculpting realm. Ka. A slight sound emerged, followed by Ning Cheng's surroundings turning gloomy. Ning Cheng was incomparably calm. He had already crossed a thunder tribulation. As such, he knew that this was the thunder tribulation for the soul-sculpting realm. As such, he did not hesitate to bring out the everlasting blue thunder city. With the great circle of the soul essence realm, the shadow of Ning Cheng's everlasting blue thunder city became even clearer. Even the shadows of some of the buildings inside the city could be vaguely seen. In just a few breaths of time, a large piece of thin thunder waterfall fell down. Even Ning Cheng, who was already prepared for this, was so shocked that he held his breath. He had never seen this kind of thunder tribulation before. Weren't the previous thunder tribulations filled with lightning arcs? How come it turned out to be a piece after piece, just like a waterfall? Boom boom boom. Not waiting for Ning Cheng to think about it, this large piece of thunder waterfall had already fallen on top of the shadow of the everlasting blue thunder city. Kaka. The shadow of the everlasting blue thunder city was instantly blasted into nothingness, while the thunder waterfall that leaked down from the edge of the thunder city directly bombarded Ning Cheng's body. In just a breath of time, Ning Cheng's clothes were taken away, while a large piece of his skin was also taken away by the thunder tribulation. Although this large piece of thunder waterfall was something that Ning Cheng could not resist, but fortunately it came and went quickly. Not only did it blow away Ning Cheng's shadow of the everlasting blue thunder city, it also severely injured Ning Cheng, while at the same time turning the mountain under Ning Cheng's feet into a ravine. All of this happened in just a short period of time. Ning Cheng had managed to survive this short period of time. As such, he was still alive. The barrier to the soul-sculpting realm did not wait for Ning Cheng to attack it, as it automatically split open even bigger. Even if Ning Cheng ended up in the middle of the ravine, he still swallowed down 2 more true polar bamboo sprouts, while at the same time crazily operated the cultivation method. If he did not advance at this time, then only death awaited him, so how could he dare to have even half a shred of other thoughts? After the fusion of the cultivation method, it immediately swept up a large amount of spiritual qi in the surroundings. Even the spirit stones that were blasted into smithereens did not affect Ning Cheng's absorption of the spiritual qi. Under the impact of the rich spiritual qi and the true polar bamboo sprouts, a part of the thunder source that had invaded Ning Cheng's body was also absorbed by Ning Cheng. As it impacted his body, Kacha! Ning Cheng's entire body shook, his muscles and bones felt as if they were dislocated at this moment, but also as if they were restored at this moment. Ning Cheng felt ecstatic in his heart. This kind of incomparably solid feeling made him realize that his body-forging body had advanced to the rank 5 imperial body. For Ning Cheng, the most important thing was not to advance his cultivation to the soul-sculpting realm, but to advance his body-forging body to the rank 5 imperial body. Once his body-forging body advanced, then he would be even more confident in crossing the thunder tribulation of the soul-sculpting realm. The sound of his bones reforming was like an incomparably beautiful piece of music, which made Ning Cheng feel very satisfied. His injured skin also recovered in an instant. When the everlasting blue thunder city's shadow appeared once again, it once again brought out several large pieces of thunder waterfalls. This time, the thunder waterfall was even more powerful than the first time, but the damage to Ning Cheng was far less than the first time. The everlasting blue thunder city's shadow also instantly shattered, but Ning Cheng's body was even more powerful than before. The spiritual qi and the scorching hot spiritual power of the true polar bamboo sprouts were swept up by Ning Cheng as they continued to bombard the barrier to the soul-sculpting realm. Kacha! The barrier to the soul-sculpting realm was like an eggshell being blown apart by Ning Cheng. At this time, the third wave of thunder waterfalls descended. Ning Cheng gave out a sigh. At this time, he had already advanced to the soul-sculpting realm, causing the aura around his body to skyrocket, causing his strength to soar. Even if the thunder waterfalls were to descend even more densely, he would not feel the slightest bit of fear. Chapter 355. With a cracking sound, the thunder waterfall came crashing down. Ning Cheng's strength skyrocketed, causing the shadow of the Blue Thunder City to become more and more distinct. As the thunder waterfall fell on the Thunder City, it caused the thunder shadows to scatter in all directions. When the thunder waterfall finally disappeared, Ning Cheng's Blue Thunder City's shadow also exploded into nothingness. What Ning Cheng did not expect was that the thunder waterfall and the Thunder City's shadow would disappear at the same time, and not even the slightest bit of lightning would splash onto his body. Ning Cheng felt a bit helpless. He had almost died in the first wave of the thunder tribulation, but now it felt as if he was not crossing the tribulation, but rather relaxing. Amidst the rumbling, the next wave of lightning tribulation descended. This time, Ning Cheng did not bring out the everlasting Blue Thunder City. This thunder tribulation provided great benefits to body forging and cultivation. If the everlasting Blue Thunder City blocked all of it, then it would not be worthwhile at all. It could be estimated that among the countless cultivators who were trying to cross their tribulations, there were very few cultivators like Ning Cheng who longed for the lightning arcs to strike their bodies. To Ning Cheng's regret, the next wave of thunder tribulation was not even comparable to the first wave. Moreover, it was not a thunder waterfall, but only a dozen or so lightning arcs. The dozen or so lightning arcs did not have even the slightest effect on Ning Cheng. At best, it only tempered his corporeal body a bit more. As more than a dozen lightning arcs passed by, the falling lightning arcs became smaller and smaller. When the last lightning arc fell on Ning Cheng's body, it had already turned into the thickness of a chopstick. Other people's tribulations were getting more and more terrifying. But Ning Cheng found that his tribulations were getting simpler and simpler. As long as his strength increased, the lightning tribulation would definitely weaken. As the soul-sculpting thunder tribulation passed, the entire summit of the snowy mountain where Ning Cheng was located was almost completely uprooted. Not only that, but the snow on half of the mountain had also melted, causing a large number of avalanches. Not only did he not receive any healing spiritual clouds, he also did not receive any benefits, causing Ning Cheng to have a feeling that the thunder was loud, but the rain was small. He returned to his residence helplessly. As he had just advanced, his aura was still overflowing, as the true polar bamboo sprout still had a lot of spiritual power that had not yet been absorbed. Even if he wanted to find the heavenly cusp flower, he needed to stabilize his cultivation first. Poison mist thistles. As long as one was a cultivator in the sifting orchid star, there was not a single person who did not know about this place. It could be said that this place was one of the forbidden areas of the sifting orchid star. The sifting orchid star was a dangerous place on all sides. Moreover, the forbidden areas of the sifting orchid star did not even need to think about it. It was a dangerous place among dangerous places. No one would come within hundreds of miles of the poison mist thistles. Even if they knew that there were many good things in the poison mist thistles, no one would come here to die. In the sifting orchid star, as long as one was not afraid of suffering, good things could be found everywhere. As such, there was no need to come to the poison mist thistles to throw away one's life. At this time, Ning Cheng was standing on the periphery of the poison mist thistles. He frowned as he looked at the mist-shrouded thistles forest in front of him, while feeling deeply worried. It had already been 6 months since he advanced to the soul-sculpting realm. During these 6 months, Ning Cheng had not only stabilized his cultivation in the soul-sculpting realm, but had also directly reached the peak of the first level of the soul-sculpting realm. It was also because of stabilizing his cultivation that Ning Cheng decided to come to the poison mist thistles to look for the heavenly cusp flower. Once he found the heavenly cusp flower, he could then leave the sifting orchid star at any time. Now that he was at the periphery of the poison mist thistles, he realized how terrifying this place was. He was still dozens of miles away from the poison mist thistles, but he already felt waves of dizziness. Once he reached the edge of the poison mist thistles, he would not even need to go in, as he would directly die from the poison. Ning Cheng could barely be regarded as an earth pill master. As such, he had a pile of detoxification and poison avoidance pills on him. However, These detoxification pills had very little effect on the poison mist in this place. At best they could only detoxify some simple poisons. Cultivating all the way to the first level of the soul sculpting realm, Ningcheng could also be considered as a person who had seen the world. However, he was still unable to figure out what the poison mist inside the poison mist thistles was. However, the heavenly cusp flower was something that Ningcheng had to obtain. Since Shi Qianghua was able to obtain it, then why couldn't he obtain it? On the first day, Ningcheng found a set of medium-grade spiritual artifact armor, and used it to seal his entire body. Ningcheng wore this set of armor, but just as he came into contact with the edge of the poison mist thistles, the armor immediately started to corrode under the poison mist. Ningcheng immediately withdrew with his fastest speed. If he was even a little bit late, Ningcheng estimated that even if he had a rank 5 imperial body, he would not be able to withstand it. On the second day, Ningcheng brought out the everlasting Blue Thunder City's shadow, but under the immense pressure of the poison mist, Ningcheng's true essence and spiritual consciousness were unable to withstand it, causing him to withdraw once again. On the third day, Ningcheng used a flight-type magical weapon that was engraved with countless defensive array formations, but failed. On the fourth day, Ningcheng tried to use the earth-escaping technique, but failed. Ningcheng had already stayed at the edge of the poison mist thistles for half a month. If not for the many detoxification pills that he had, he would have already been poisoned to a very deep level. Young man, even if you keep trying like this for 100 years, it would not be of any use. An old voice suddenly interrupted Ningcheng's contemplation. Ningcheng suddenly stood up and looked around. Although this voice sounded out beside him, he was unexpectedly not aware of it. If the other party wanted to plot against him, then wouldn't it be in the bag? In an instant, cold sweat oozed out from Ningcheng's back. Who is it? Ningcheng immediately shouted, while simultaneously bringing out his black iron spear. TSK, your magical weapon is really good. The old voice once again exclaimed in admiration, but this time Ningcheng was able to see it clearly. A skinny man was sitting only a few dozen feet away from him. Rather than saying that this man was skinny, it would be better to say that he had a skeletal body. Compared to the skeleton at the bottom of the blood river, he only had a layer of skin, which would make a person feel absolutely panic-stricken at first glance. You do not have to be afraid. I was also prepared to go in to look for spiritual grasses, but I came here more than 20 years earlier than you. My name is Ju Han, maybe we can cooperate. The skinny man's tone was very calm. More than 20 years? Ningcheng stared at this skinny man in shock. He had stayed here for half a month, and was almost tortured to death. But this guy had actually stayed here for decades? A rich poisonous gas overflowed from the skinny man called Ju Han, which made Ningcheng endlessly shocked. If he had been poisoned by so much poisonous gas, he would have already died a long time ago. But this Ju Han actually endured for more than 20 years, and still did not want to leave this place? Ju Han, seeing Ningcheng did not speak, once again spoke. I have also gone in once, so I have some experience. Plus I have been observing this place for more than 20 years. If you did not have my help, you would never be able to enter the poison mist thistles. You have gone in once. Ningcheng was really shocked this time. Did someone really go in here? Since they had gone in, then why would they still stay here? Huh? Ju Han gave a self-deprecating smile. In the past, I went in for a woman to obtain a heavenly cusp flower, and then gave the heavenly cusp flower to that woman. The result was that the woman almost killed me in return. If I had not rushed to this place, and did not dare to come in with a woman, I would have already died. Are you talking about Suanjin? Ningcheng blurted out. Hey, you are just a puny soul-sculpting cultivator. How do you know about Suanjin? Even I only came to know that this woman is called Su Anjin after being plotted against. Is it possible that you also secretly like this woman? When Ju Han heard Ningcheng mention Su Anjin, his hollow eyes lit up a bit. Ningcheng shook his head. I do not know her. Why don't you tell me? How did you end up being deceived by this woman? Ju Han gave a smile. It's because I did not control my crotch. This woman is really interesting, although I only went to bed with her once. But you do not know how enjoyable it was to have sex with her. The aftertaste is endless. Speaking till here, Juhan unexpectedly licked his tongue, seemingly still reluctant to part with Su Anjin. Do you not hate her? Ningqing asked in doubt. It stood to reason that Juhan was almost killed by Su Anjin. As such, he should hate this woman to the extreme. Juhan spoke in a light voice. This woman made me like this. How could I not hate her? However, my hatred is not to kill her. I want to catch her, and then... Seeing this skeleton's demeanor, Ningqing did not even need to think about it. He already knew what he was thinking about. How do you want to cooperate? Ningqing was not interested in continuing to talk about Su Anjin. The poisonous mist in this place corrodes anything with spiritual power fluctuations, whether it is a magical weapon or a body. However, there is one thing that cannot be corroded, that is, things that do not have spiritual chi fluctuations. If there is a flight-type treasure that does not have spiritual chi fluctuations, then you can definitely enter inside. Juhan's words made Ningqing's heart move. If that was the case, then he also had a rank 5 battle disc in his miniature world. Moreover, he did not know if a rank 5 battle disc would have any spiritual chi fluctuations, but it was definitely a product of a technological civilization. Juhan deliberately paused for a moment, looked at Ningqing and continued. I happen to know where in the Sifting Orchid Star you can find such a thing. The Sifting Orchid Star also has a rank 5 battle disc, but the person who owns the battle disc is also at the same level as me. As long as you take me to that place, then I can get the battle disc, and then we can go in together. Sure enough, it was a battle disc. Ningqing calmly asked, does the battle disc not need spirit stones to power it? He knew that the battle disc not only needed spirit stones to power it, but it could also shoot out spirit stone cannons. How could it not have any spiritual chi fluctuations? If it was replaced by an airplane, then it would have been more or less the same. As the airplane was powered by fuel, it would not have any spiritual chi fluctuations. Haha, you don't understand. This thing is very troublesome to explain to you, but I will explain it to you this way. Even if the battle disc uses spirit stones to power it, it is still a kind of energy source. What's more, the battle disc has many kinds of energy sources. Spirit stones are just one of them. Spiritual chi fluctuations refer to the fluctuations of the laws of magic power, the burning of the energy source. It is not considered as spiritual chi fluctuations. Moreover, even if there are fluctuations, they are all inside, and would not be corroded by the poisonous mist here. Juhan finished speaking and looked at Ningqing calmly. He believed that as long as Ningqing wanted to go in, then he would agree to his request. Ningqing was even calmer than Juhan. Xian Zimo had already turned into a dying life essence, and had completely fallen into a deep sleep. Moreover, the rank 5 battle disc was also in his hands, so why would he want to cooperate with this Juhan? Moreover, this person spoke in a flat tone, causing Ningqing to feel that this person was a bit strange. What do you want from the poison mist thistles? Is it the heavenly cusp flower? Ningqing casually asked. No, I just want a petalous flower. I do not want the rest. As Juhan spoke, he had already guessed that Ningqing had come here for the heavenly cusp flower. Chapter 356. What was this petalous flower? Ningqing was just about to ask about it, when a stream of light rushed into his glabella. Possession? Ningqing instantly calmed down. He had encountered a possession. A few days ago, he was speechless at Xian Zimo's attempt to possess Uncle Yu's body, but now it was his turn. I knew that you did not want to cooperate with me. Anyway, sooner or later I would have to take you away, so I might as well be straightforward. Open up your Zifu. If you have any wishes, I, Juhan, will help you fulfill them. Juhan's cold voice resounded in Ningqing's mind. He had been waiting here for more than 20 years, and had finally found the best body. This kid was young and strong. Allowing him to possess his body was simply the best option. This was his compensation. He had suffered for so many years, and now he finally had some compensation. A late-stage crucible transformation life essence. Ningqing instantly understood. This Juhan was not like the dying Xian Zimo or Uncle Yu, but a real late-stage crucible transformation cultivator. Even if he had been invaded by the poisonous fog for more than 20 years, his life essence was still incomparably powerful. Be honest and let me devour you. Give me your body. I will live a better life than you. Zhu Han's life essence instantly rushed into Ning Cheng's Zifu. The terrifying tearing feeling almost caused Ning Cheng to punch his own head into pieces. What is this? Zhu Han's life essence looked at the blue-colored Thunder City, suspended in Ning Cheng's Zifu in shock, but he quickly recognized two other things. Mysterious yellow origin? Is this the legendary mysterious yellow bead? Fire seed. Heavens, who the hell is this guy? How could he have so many heaven-defying things? Zhu Han cried out in shock. The Thunder City suspended under the mysterious yellow bead was definitely not a simple thing. The moment Zhu Han trembled, Ningqing angrily mobilized the everlasting blue Thunder City and the Star River Seed to attack Zhu Han's life essence. No, I quit. Zhu Han cried out in shock. He had a late-stage crucible transformation life essence. If he wanted to possess a cultivator at the first level of soul sculpting realm, he would not have to put in any effort. Even if this soul sculpting realm cultivator's sea of consciousness was more powerful, it would not be able to affect his possession. But how could he have thought that this soul sculpting cultivator's sea of consciousness would have so many treasures that could attack the life essence? He was just an empty-handed primordial spirit. Fighting against these treasures, he simply did not know how the word death was written. His defeat was already a foregone conclusion, so Zhu Han did not dare to make a move and immediately withdrew. Even if he wanted to withdraw, Ningqing could not tolerate it. Countless lightning arcs shot out from the blue Thunder City, and the next moment, Zhu Han's life essence, which had shrunk into a ball under the bombardment of the lightning arcs, was immediately engulfed by the celestial river flames. Ah! A pitiful scream erupted from Ningcheng's sea of consciousness. Zhu Han's life essence simply did not have any power to resist, and was completely destroyed by the joint efforts of Lei Cheng and the Star River Seed. Ningcheng had not even mobilized his life essence. My goodness, fortunately, I have the Star River Seed and the Thunder City, otherwise, this shameless guy would have succeeded. What made Ningcheng happy was the Thunder City's attack, although it was not outside, but the Thunder City was able to attack Zhu Han's life essence in his sea of consciousness, which meant that the Thunder City would be able to attack in the future. If one day he could mobilize the Thunder City to attack, his strength would once again take a big step forward. Ningcheng stepped forward and put away Zhu Han's ring. He was too lazy to care about Zhu Han's corpse, and directly left the place. After arriving at an open space, Ningqing immediately took out the black rank 5 battle disc. Originally, Ningqing did not care much about this black battle disc, but now that he heard that this black battle disc could fly through the poison mist thistles, it really made him feel surprised. Unfortunately, Zhu Han had died too quickly. As such, he did not know the specific situation inside the poison mist thistles. Ningcheng had just walked to the side of the black battle disc, and before he could even reach out and touch the metal of the battle disc, he saw the battle disc automatically open a door, requesting Master to name the battle disc. After the battle disc's door opened, it automatically issued out an incomparably crisp voice. Ningcheng was secretly shocked. He knew that this was because he had inserted his spiritual sense into the talisman pattern jade card, which made this battle disc equivalent to his. However, he did not think that this battle disc would have such intelligence. Compared to the fighter jets on Earth, it was countless times more brilliant. Let's call it Sifting Orchid. Ningqing casually spoke out. He had obtained this battle disc on the Sifting Orchid star. As such, this battle disc might as well be named Sifting Orchid. Many thanks, Master. Sifting Orchid welcomes Master to enter. The black battle disc once again issued out an intelligent voice, which made Ningqing even more delighted with this battle disc. He really did not think that this technological product that he originally looked down on would actually give him such a big surprise. Ningqing entered the battle disc, and found that the layout inside was very exquisite. Moreover, the scenery outside was very clear at a glance. What made Ningqing even more shocked was that this battle disc did not have a control room. Rather than saying that it was the internal space of the battle disc, it was more like a leisure place. There were seats, beds, tables. Requesting Master to send out instructions. Requesting Master to choose the energy source. Ningqing was not only pleasantly surprised, since the rank 5 battle disc already had intelligence, then he did not know what would happen if it was a rank 6 or rank 7 battle disc. Ningqing took out the jade strip with the map that Ban Miaolei had given him, and wondered if the battle disc could read the jade strip. Sifting Orchid, can you read the jade strip? Ningqing shook the jade strip in his hand and asked, requesting Master to put the jade strip into the reading slot. With the battle disc's intelligent voice resounding out, Ningqing quickly found the jade strip reading slot, while also finding the slot for the spirit stones. The battle disc could read the jade strip, and could even retrieve the spirit stones from the interspatial rings without any restrictions. Ningqing knew that this was definitely the product of the combination of a technological and a true cultivator civilization. It seems that he had previously thought that a technological and a true cultivator civilization could not be combined, which was a complete mistake. The outside world was much more wonderful and complex than what he had imagined. If this battle disc had been able to fire the spirit stone cannons during the Battle of the Heartless Sea, then the armies of the Heartless Sea would not have needed to resist at all. This kind of intelligent spirit stone cannon, was it more than 1,000,000 times stronger than the artificially controlled spirit stone cannons? This rank 5 battle disc was not just some chicken ribs, but a real treasure. It was even more powerful than a low-grade true artifact. Ningqing was still in a state of excitement when Sifting Orchid once again issued out instructions, requesting Master to give us the destination. To the poison mist thistles. Ningqing took out a ring filled with spirit stones, without any restrictions, and placed it into the energy slot, before speaking out in high spirits. He had originally planned to see if he could control the mysterious yellow bead to enter the poison mist thistles, but he did not expect that the battle disc would be so intelligent. When the battle disc flew up, Ningqing did not even feel it. Ningqing swept out with his spiritual consciousness, and found that the battle disc really was rushing towards the poison mist swamp. At this time, in front of Ningqing's seat, a huge crystal screen appeared. The screen showed the surrounding scenery, the flying disc speed, direction, altitude, environment and other parameters. Good heavens! Ningqing muttered to himself. Sifting Orchid's speed could obviously be faster. As long as he issued the command, it would be fine. However, Ningqing did not issue the command. The current speed was definitely the best speed that the battle disc could muster. The crystal screen even showed the index of the whirlwinds that the flying disc encountered during its flight. Ningqing had not even studied these things when the flying disc arrived at the edge of the poison mist thistles. An unknown fog has been detected, but it has no effect on the battle disc. The battle disc, as it rushed into the poison mist, sent out an intelligent voice message. Sure enough, it was not affected. Ningqing felt overjoyed and immediately spoke. Go to the center of the poison mist, and find the location of this spiritual grass. Saying that, Ningqing put the jade strip with the heavenly cusp flower engraved on it into the reading slot. The surroundings of the rank 5 battle disc quickly lit up with lights. These lights illuminated the thistles and thorns below as if it was daytime. Ningqing looked at the dense thistles and thorns below, and immediately felt his scalp tingle. Fortunately, he did not enter the thistles and thorns. Who knew what dangers lurked within these thorns? After just 2 hours, the battle disc came to a stop and issued a command that it had arrived. Ningqing looked out from the battle disc, and found that the battle disc was suspended above a lake, with countless spiritual grasses growing on the lakeside. Moreover, these spiritual grasses were all high-grade spiritual grasses, with the lowest being level 7 spiritual grasses. Ningqing saw 7 heavenly cusp flowers. In addition to the heavenly cusp flowers, there was also a very strange spiritual grass. It only had a single fruit, but it did not have any leaves, nor did it have any petals. Ningqing quickly swept out with his spiritual consciousness, and found that there were 7 heavenly cusp flowers and 5 petalous flowers. As for the rest of the spiritual grasses, Ningqing knew most of them. There was no poisonous fog around the lake, and there were no dangerous demonic beasts either. I struck it rich. Ningqing suppressed the surprise in his heart, and jumped down from the battle disc. No one had disturbed this place for countless years. As such, the presence of these spiritual grasses was not strange at all. A powerful existence has been detected in the lake. It is about to awaken. We must leave immediately. Sifting Orchid suspended above the lake suddenly issued out an urgent alarm. Regarding the rank 5 battle disc, Ningqing was now very convinced. Hearing the battle disk's alarm, Ningqing quickly looked at the heavenly cusp flowers, grabbed 2 of the surrounding spiritual grasses, and flew up to the battle disk. Boom! The hatch of the battle disk had just closed, when a powerful water column rushed out. Even through the battle disk, Ningqing could feel a burst of tightness in his chest. The rank 5 battle disk was just like a strand of straw, as it was swept away by the wind. The battle disk has been damaged, initiating the self-repair procedure. Sifting Orchid's voice once again came out. Ningqing had already seen the terrifying monstrous beast rushing out of the lake. At the same time a huge palm slapped towards the battle disk. He knew that this was definitely an existence equivalent to a crucible transformation cultivator. If he was hit by this palm, then he would not be able to escape. Let's rush out first, then self-repair. Ningqing was shocked in his heart, as he quickly gave out instructions. Although the battle disk was powerful, it was still an object of a technological civilization. As such it would not be able to fight against a truly powerful monstrous beast. Fortunately, the battle disk's intelligence was quite good, as it was able to automatically repair itself while rushing into the poison mist thistles. The monstrous beast that came out of the lake was a step too slow. Although this monstrous beast was very terrifying, it did not dare to enter the poison mist thistles. It could only roar out a few times from behind the battle disk, before it finally fell into the lake unwillingly. Ningqing secretly gave out a sigh, as he felt that it was truly a pity in his heart. If he could snatch away all the spiritual grasses by the lakeside, then becoming a Tier 8 Pill Grandmaster would have been an absolute certainty. Chapter 357. The battle disk swayed unsteadily, and Ningqing thought that the battle disk would fall into the thistles forest several times. Fortunately, although the battle disk swayed, it did not fall. The battle disk did not fall, but its speed obviously slowed down. After a while, the battle disk barely stabilized. Ningqing slightly relaxed. He knew that the intelligent sifting orchid should have worked. At this moment, he began to look at the spiritual grasses that he had collected. With 2 casual grabs he managed to obtain 2 heavenly cusp flowers, a petalous flower, and 2 7-colored grasses. The 7-colored grasses were only rank 7 spiritual grasses. For Ningqing, its value was just average. As for the role of the petalous flower, Ningqing only knew that it could detoxify the poisonous fog. As for whether it had any other use, he was not very clear about it. As such, he could only store it in a jade box. Ningqing carefully preserved it. In order to obtain these few spiritual grasses, he was almost killed by the monstrous beasts in the poison mist lake. Fortunately, the rank 5 battle disc played a big role. This time, the rank 5 battle disc not only helped Ningqing obtain the spiritual grasses, but it also saved Ningqing's life. The status of the rank 5 battle disc in Ningqing's heart rose to a new height. What made Ningqing distressed was that the unknown monstrous beast had created a huge dent in the rank 5 battle disc. He did not know if this dent could be repaired by the intelligent sifting orchid. A few days later, Ningqing once again returned to his residence. He did not continue with body forging. There were only a few months left until the Coiling Reef Mountain exchange that Xiao He had mentioned. He intended to cultivate for a few months before going to take a look. If not for worrying about Shi Qianghua coming back, Ningqing would have already left the sifting orchid star. Initially, he was unable to crush the transmission jade talisman at the bottom of the Blood River, but now it should be enough, right? He was afraid that after Shi Qianghua came back, she would not be able to enter the place where she was staying. If that happened, then the sifting orchid star would explode, which would be the end of it. A few months passed by quickly, and Ningqing's cultivation advanced from the peak of the first level of the soul sculpting realm to the second level of the soul sculpting realm. At this time, he received a message from Xiao He through his communications pearl. Xiao He told Ningqing that the cultivator-cultivator exchange at the Coiling Reef Mountain would begin in a few days. Ningqing then took the battle disc and directly flew towards the Coiling Reef towards the Coiling Reef Mountain. The main reason for this was because the space-time of the sifting orchid star was extremely unstable. At any time and place, one could easily fall into the space-time turbulences, while at any time and place, One could also encounter high-leveled flying monstrous beasts. The battle disc, on the other hand, was able to avoid these things in advance. This was the advantage of having intelligence. From this point of view, the battle disc was much more practical than a true artifact or a flight-type magical weapon. The only thing that Ning Cheng regretted was that the defensive capabilities of the battle disc were slightly worse. The battle disc had not even been directly hit by a top-notch monstrous beast, yet it had already caved in. If it were hit by a top-notch monstrous beast, it was estimated that the battle disc would immediately disintegrate. Although the speed of the rank 5 battle disc on the Sifting Orchid Star was not the fastest, but it was still a lot safer compared to Ning Cheng running on the ground. Discovered a hurricane, changed direction to avoid the hurricane. Ning Cheng spent 2 days in the battle disc safe and sound, when on the 3rd day, the Sifting Orchid's intelligent voice suddenly sounded out. Ning Cheng was startled and quickly said, "Immediately avoid the hurricane." Artificial intelligence was just artificial intelligence. It could not replace the human brain. Otherwise, it would not ask such a stupid question. Regarding the Sifting Orchid Star's hurricanes, Ning Cheng had only heard about it from Shi Qianghua, that it was an extremely terrifying natural storm in the Sifting Orchid Star. As for how terrifying it was, Ning Cheng had not seen it directly. However, today, Ning Cheng was able to see with his own eyes what a hurricane was. His spiritual consciousness turned dim, as a whirlpool almost tore apart the space around it. This whirlpool reminded Ning Cheng of the violent funnel that he had encountered in the geocentric 9 in essence. This thing looked even more terrifying than the funnel back then. The battle disc promptly changed its direction, but the hurricane behind it was still getting closer and closer. Ning Cheng managed to catch the figures of 2 cultivators. Judging from the speed at which these 2 cultivators evaded the hurricane, they were definitely crucible transformation cultivators. However, at this time, the 2 crucible transformation cultivators were like stray dogs, crazily rushing forward. The speed of the 2 crucible transformation cultivators was already fast enough, but unfortunately, the hurricane was even faster. In just a few breaths, it had already wrapped around the 2 crucible transformation cultivators. Ning Cheng could vaguely see the 2 crucible transformation cultivators within the hurricane, being torn to pieces. The 2 crucible transformation cultivators did not even have the ability to resist such a terrifying hurricane. Even crucible transformation cultivators could not resist it. As such, he did not even need to think about it. Master, the battle disc is unable to change its direction and escape the range of the hurricane. The hurricane will sweep away the battle disc after 10 breaths. Sifting Orchid's voice sounded out once again. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness had just swept past a few hundred meters high mountain peak, so when he heard the words of the intelligent Sifting Orchid, he immediately became even more anxious in his heart. This hurricane was boundless, and there was no place to escape. There was also no place to avoid the direction of the hurricane. Ning Cheng knew that he could not rely on the rank 5 battle disc, he could only rely on himself. 10 breaths only lasted for a few seconds. As such, Ning Cheng did not have the time to think about it. He directly threw the battle disc into the miniature world ring, while simultaneously entering the mysterious yellow bead. This was the first time that Ning Cheng had used the mysterious yellow bead to escape. He had just entered the mysterious yellow bead. A terrifying hurricane swept through. The mysterious yellow bead's mysterious yellow aura, under this terrifying hurricane, simply could not spread out. Inside the mysterious yellow bead, Ning Cheng felt slightly relieved. He believed that even if the Sifting Orchid Star exploded, it would not be able to do anything to his mysterious yellow bead. The mysterious yellow bead was a good fortune treasure. If it could be killed so easily, then what good fortune would there be? Ning Cheng carefully swept out with his spiritual consciousness from the mysterious yellow bead. But before his spiritual consciousness could clearly see the situation outside, the terrifying hurricane swept away his spiritual consciousness. Ning Cheng felt a sharp pain in his sea of consciousness, causing him to quickly retract his spiritual consciousness. After the time it took for an incense stick to burn, Ning Cheng once again stretched out his spiritual consciousness. When he found that the mysterious yellow bead had already been swept into the ground, he knew that the hurricane had already passed. Ning Cheng quickly put away the mysterious yellow bead. and escaped through the earth to the surface. Once again standing on the ground, Ningqing looked at the places he could see in shock. As far as his eyes could see, it looked like it had been gnawed by a dog, full of potholes and ravines. Where could he even find a flat place? He was sure that if this hurricane had swept into the place where he lived before, then the place where he lived would have disappeared without a trace. Living in the sifting orchid star, one really had to be ready to sacrifice oneself at any time. Ningqing once again took out the battle disc and hurried on his way. Although the battle disc could not escape from the hurricane, but the battle disc had at least reminded him in advance. If not for the battle disc's reminder, then by the time Ningqing was aware of the hurricane, perhaps he would have already been swept away by the hurricane. 2 days later, Ningqing arrived at the top of the Coiling Reef Mountain, while he had already put away the battle disc. There were at least tens of thousands of people on the Coiling Reef summit, which made Ningqing feel very shocked. He had thought that there were only a few people cultivating in the sifting orchid star. Even if there was a cultivators' exchange meet at the Coiling Reef Mountains, it would only be good if a few hundred or even 1,000 people came. He didn't expect that there would be more than 10,000 people. Moreover, there was an endless stream of cultivators rushing over. Ningqing looked around. Although his cultivation was considered low, there were still a few soul essence cultivators among them. Compared to the soul sculpting and sea opening realm cultivators, the soul essence cultivators were the least. Even crucible transformation cultivators had more of them than soul essence cultivators. Some temporary stalls were scattered all over the place. There was no planning, and no one was managing them. Some wealthy cultivators had already built their own merchant houses. The cultivators here were in groups, exchanging goods with each other. When Ningqing saw this, he also looked for an open space and set up his own stall. He didn't have any Dharma treasures, so he could only set up a stall on the ground. Compared to the other stalls, the things in his stall were protected by a defensive array formation. The reason why Ningqing set up a stall here was because he had only one purpose: to exchange the spiritual enhancement true nectar for rank 7 and rank 8 spiritual grasses. Other than the spiritual enhancement true nectar, he did not have many other things, but he was also reluctant to exchange them. Ningqing set up his stall and put down a few bottles of spiritual enhancement true nectar. Not waiting for him to erect a billboard, 2 cultivators arrived in front of his stall. "Are you Ningqing?" The one who spoke was a man without eyebrows. This man did not have eyebrows, but his forehead was also very prominent. It was the kind of face that people would never forget when they saw him. Seeing Gongye Ingxiu behind this man, how could Ningqing not know what was going on? "That's right, I am Ningqing." This eyebrowless man was a soul sculpting 7th level cultivator, while Gongye Ingxiu was also a soul sculpting 7th level cultivator. With this kind of cultivation, Ningqing was not afraid of him. Last time, because of Shi Qionghua's matter, Ningqing did not care about Gongye Ingxiu, but this time if Gongye Ingxiu dared to play any tricks, then he would definitely not show any mercy. "I heard that you managed to get your hands on a lot of true polar bamboo sprouts. Take them out, I will give you a high price." This eyebrowless man had not finished his words when he looked straight at the few bottles of spiritual enhancement true nectar in front of Ningqing's stall, as he spoke in a pleasantly surprised voice. "Is this spiritual enhancement true nectar?" Although the spiritual enhancement true nectar only had a single effect, but it was definitely one of the rarest spiritual objects, and was incomparably precious. This kind of thing was useful to everyone, but at the same time, every cultivator did not need to use it too much. "Congratulations, you got it right. This is my spiritual enhancement true nectar." Ningqing spoke in a light voice, and with a wave of his hand, a golden signboard appeared in front of him using an array formation. "This stall sells a lot of spiritual enhancement true nectar. If you want to purchase spiritual enhancement true nectar, please use rank 7 and above spiritual grasses to exchange. Rank 7 and below spiritual grasses are not accepted." Ningqing was currently barely able to refine rank 7 pills, but now that he wanted to advance to a tier 8 pill master, ordinary spiritual grasses would not be of much use to him. This eyebrowless cultivator simply did not care about Ningqing's signboard, as he raised his hand to grab Ningqing's spiritual enhancement true nectar. Bang! A sound emerged, as the eyebrowless cultivator's hand was directly repelled by Ning Cheng's restriction. Only then did he discover that Ning Cheng's spiritual enhancement true nectar was protected by an array formation. Hurry up, take out your spiritual enhancement true nectar, and let me have a look. This eyebrowless cultivator anxiously spoke up, as he almost brought out his magical weapon to bombard Ning Cheng's restriction. Not only this eyebrowless cultivator, even Gongya Ingxiu, who was a few meters behind the eyebrowless cultivator, also eagerly took a few steps forward, apparently because of the spiritual enhancement true nectar. Ning Cheng simply did not pay any attention to this eyebrowless cultivator and Gongya Ingxiu, as he directly shouted towards the crowded place. I have spiritual enhancement true nectar here. I am selling spiritual enhancement true nectar. The quantity is limited. If you want to buy it, then hurry up, otherwise you won't be able to. Chapter 358. For Ning Cheng, regardless of whether he would be able to exchange for a large number of rank 7 and above spiritual grasses in this exchange meet, he had already decided to leave the sifting orchid star. Regarding the matter of taking out a large amount of spiritual enhancement true nectar, which would cause people to turn red with envy, he had already thrown it aside. I asked you a question, didn't you hear me? The eyebrowless male cultivator's aura immediately skyrocketed and directly approached Ning Cheng. He could see more and more cultivators coming over, while he was just at the 7th level of soul sculpting realm. As such, he simply could not gain the upper hand in terms of cultivation. Ning Cheng waited until many of the cultivators had squeezed in, before he looked at the eyebrowless male cultivator and spoke. I heard it, I have a lot of spiritual enhancement true nectar. As long as you have the spiritual grasses, you can come and sell them. Don't tell me you can afford it if I only sell it to you? Is there really the spiritual enhancement true nectar? Spiritual enhancement true nectar, what's the price? In just a short time, Ning Cheng's booth was already overcrowded with people. All the people were staring at the spiritual enhancement true nectar in front of Ning Cheng's booth, as all kinds of spiritual consciousnesses probed into it. Unfortunately, these divine senses were all blocked by the restriction without exception. At this time, everyone realized that Ning Cheng was also an array formation master. The crowding in the surroundings also eased up a little. Unless it was absolutely necessary, very few people would take the initiative to offend an array master. Everyone, the spiritual enhancement true nectar that I have here can only be exchanged with spiritual grasses. I do not accept spirit stones. One precious level 7 spiritual grass could be exchanged for 1 drop, while 2 to 5 ordinary level 7 spiritual grass could be exchanged for 1 drop. Rank 8 spiritual grasses, according to the value of the spiritual grasses, 1 stalk can be exchanged for 10 to 20 drops. Ning Cheng cupped his fists and spoke out loudly. No way. So expensive? The price of a level 7 spiritual grass is too low. Ning Cheng also knew that the price he spoke of was not reasonable, as he had estimated the value of a rank 7 spiritual grass to be too low. However, Ning Cheng did not have any intention to modify it. This was a one-time deal. Moreover, the most important thing to him was the Tier 8 spiritual herbs. He was already a Tier 7 earth pill refiner, so even if he managed to obtain more Tier 7 spiritual herbs, it would only increase his standard of refining Tier 7 earth pills slightly. As for the rank 8 spiritual grasses, they were far better than just 20 drops of spiritual enhancement true nectar. Ning Cheng also did not need good rank 8 spiritual grasses. As long as he could refine rank 8 pills, it would be enough. As for the preciousness of the spiritual grasses, it did not matter. Ning Cheng did not explain the price of his spiritual enhancement true nectar, but instead spoke out in a loud voice. The things here are limited. If you want to buy it, then you can come first. Ning Cheng's words were much more powerful than any other explanation, as his voice had just fallen, when someone immediately grabbed a handful of spiritual grasses and squeezed in. I have purple bamboo sprout, silver ground ginseng, thoughtless ice flower. I have black elm orchid, mystic moon grass. I have. At this time, no one even bothered to ask about the price, as they all wanted to be the first to exchange for the spiritual enhancement true nectar. Ning Cheng's hand speed was incomparably fast. In just a short period of time, The spiritual enhancement true nectar on the table was replaced by a handful of spiritual grasses. When the rest of the cultivators saw that there was still some spiritual enhancement true nectar in Ningcheng's ring, they were no longer squeezing like before. Some of the fierce-looking cultivators had murderous glints in their eyes. Ningcheng alone possessed so much spiritual enhancement true nectar, and even exchanged it for so many spiritual grasses. This was simply an immeasurable amount of wealth. As such, they had already decided that once Ningcheng left this place, they would immediately follow him. Only Gongye Ingxiu's face was incomparably gloomy. He knew that the things on Ningcheng's body would no longer belong to him. Since Ningcheng was openly selling the spiritual enhancement true nectar, it would definitely attract the attention of the top cultivators. It would really be a strange thing. In his opinion, Ningcheng was an idiot. As such, he could only secretly lament his bad luck. An hour later, Ningcheng had already exchanged for thousands of rank 7 spiritual grasses, and more than 300 rank 8 spiritual grasses. Similar to what Ningcheng had expected, these spiritual grasses were all ordinary spiritual grasses, and there were very few special spiritual grasses that came out. Ningcheng was very helpless. He knew that if he opened a stall in this place to help others in alchemy, then the spiritual grasses that he could exchange for would be much more, and would also be of a much higher grade. Moreover, it would also be of great benefit to him in improving his alchemy level. Unfortunately, he knew that it would be too dangerous to do so. Refining rank 7 pills, or even rank 8 pills, would require a very long time to refine a single set. As such, he did not have that much time to waste in this place. Well, my spiritual enhancement true nectar has now been completely exchanged. As such, I can only say sorry to the friends behind me. Ningcheng emptied the last jade bottle in front of his stall, as he deliberately raised the jade bottle, and spoke in a loud voice. To advance to a Tier 8 pill master, Ningcheng already had enough spiritual grasses. As such, he did not need to continue exchanging. Some of the cultivators who were not able to exchange for anything immediately started to make a lot of noise. There were even a few cultivators who wanted to smash Ningcheng's stall. The eyebrowless cultivator who came together with Gongye Ingxiu did not take out any spiritual grasses to exchange. As he stared at Ningcheng, while in his heart he was thinking about how he could get rid of this rich guy. When he saw that Ningcheng's stall was about to be smashed, the many cultivators who were causing trouble were getting more and more intense, and even wanted to gang up on Ningcheng to kill him. He knew that it would be impossible for him to kill Ningcheng alone. At this moment, he could only follow along with the crowd and try to grab some benefits. Ningcheng did not panic even a little bit, as he held the talisman from the bottom of the blood river in his hand. He was ready to immediately activate the twin wings of the heavenly essence to escape, and then leave the sifting orchid star. Ningcheng did not believe that he would not be able to crush this talisman. Even if he could not crush it, he still had the twin wings of the heavenly essence. If an ordinary cultivator wanted to catch him in the sifting orchid star, it would simply be wishful thinking. This place was not the Severing Emotions Dao Sex Mountain Ceiling Grand Array, and he was also not that puny soul essence third-level cultivator from before. Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. Just when these cultivators were about to swarm him, a loud and clear voice sounded out. This voice had a very strong penetrating power, causing the more than 10,000 cultivators on the Coiling Reef Mountain to be able to hear it very clearly, as if the person who spoke was right next to their ears. It's Senior Zhong. Senior Zhong definitely has something important to say. This voice belonged to a black-haired middle-aged male cultivator, who looked very refined. Ningcheng did not know who this cultivator was, but he could feel that this cultivator's cultivation was far more powerful than Qi Li's. However, from the discussions of the surrounding cultivators, he came to know that this person was surnamed Zhong. And also from the surrounding discussions, he came to know that this cultivator surnamed Zhong had an extremely high prestige. In fact, when this cultivator surnamed Zhong called out, "Ladies and gentlemen," twice, the surroundings instantly quietened down. From this, Ningcheng was able to understand the influence of this cultivator. Seeing that the surroundings had quietened down, this middle-aged male cultivator surnamed Zhong stood in the void and spoke in a clear voice. "Ladies and gentlemen, today I am not going to talk about a happy matter. For many years, the Sifting Orchid Star has been our home. Although there are all kinds of dangers here, but it has also given us all kinds of opportunities. Senior Zhang, if you have anything to say, then we will listen to you. A voice echoed from below. The man surnamed Zhang raised his voice and spoke. 7 months ago, the sifting orchid star experienced a large-scale eruption of volcanic magma. Volcanic magma eruptions on the sifting orchid star are very normal, but the one 7 months ago was definitely not normal. Whether it was the scale or the area of influence, it was far more powerful than any previous eruption of volcanic magma. My sifting orchid star originally did not have many cultivators, but this time the volcanic magma caused the deaths of hundreds of people. 5 months ago, a spatial storm once again swept through almost half of the sifting orchid star. Even I myself was almost buried in this spatial storm. 3 months ago, a large-scale monstrous beasts were alarmed, causing them to wander around the sifting orchid star without any purpose. Some of the flying monstrous beasts even rushed out of the sifting orchid star. I believe that many of my friends have already seen it. But in the last 2 months, thunderstorms, hurricanes, volcanoes and spatial storms have become more and more intense. All these scenes indicate that we cannot continue to stay on the sifting orchid star. These eruptions are all precursors. The sifting orchid star may be brewing an even more powerful storm. Even if the planet explodes, it is not impossible. The sifting orchid star is going to explode. No wonder I recently encountered 2 moving spatial storms. What should we do? If the sifting orchid star explodes, wouldn't it be courting death for us to go to the void? A variety of panicked emotions spread out. Some of the cultivators with lower cultivations were even more panic-stricken. Their cultivations were low. As such, they could still find a place to hide in the sifting orchid star. Once the sifting orchid star exploded, then entering the void, it would truly be a dead end for them. The middle-aged male cultivator surnamed Zhong used his hand to suppress the discussions of the crowd, as he spoke in a somewhat heavy tone. Therefore, if you have the ability, please leave the sifting orchid star as soon as possible. I can only help you with this much. As if to verify the words of the middle-aged cultivator surnamed Zhong, just as his voice fell, a burst of roars erupted from the coiling reef mountain. Even if one stood at the top of the coiling reef mountain, they would still be able to feel the tremors. Even without the use of spiritual consciousness, the cultivators standing at the top of the mountain could clearly see that in the distance, there were endless columns of fiery red magma. These magma columns, each of them was over 1,000 feet in length, and looked very frightening. Torrents of magma instantly swept out. It was only a matter of time before these torrents of magma would reach the coiling reef mountain. Some of the cultivators who wanted to find trouble with Ning Cheng, or even planned to secretly follow Ning Cheng, at this moment, did not have the mood to do so, as they brought out their magical weapons and instantly fled far away. As for the cultivators who had set up the stalls, each one of them was faster than the other. In just a short time, there were only a few hundred people left. Ningqing took out his communications pearl and sent a message to Chao He. He did not see Chao He here a moment ago. Chao He was a good person, so before he left, he planned to send a bottle of spiritual enhancement true nectar to Chao He, and at the same time tell Chao He that he could not stay here any longer. However, after Ningqing sent the message, he waited for a long time, but did not receive a reply from Chao He. Ningqing sighed. In this place, no one could guarantee that they would still be alive in the next moment. Ningqing had only sent a message when he found that he was the only person left on the coiling reef mountain. Moreover, the fiery red magma was only a few thousand meters away from the foot of the coiling reef mountain. Ningqing no longer hesitated. He took out a few 100,000 spirit stones and quickly arranged a spiritual gathering array, while simultaneously taking out the transfer jade talisman to head to the bottom of the blood river. Arranging the spiritual gathering array was just a precaution. The sifting orchid star might not explode, or it might take a long time before it explodes. In any case, Ningqing did not intend to continue staying here. This time, Ningqing gathered his true essence, causing the transfer jade talisman to issue a crisp sound, followed by a mass of golden light wrapping around Ningqing. When the torrent of magma reached the top of the coiling reef mountain, Ningqing had already disappeared without a trace. Only the golden light that had not yet dissipated was slowly overflowing in all directions. Chapter 359. Bang! A sound emerged, as Ningqing felt himself falling onto a hard boulder, followed by the sound of bones breaking. His spiritual consciousness instantly swept out. The next moment he knew that the skeleton at the bottom of the blood river had not lied to him. He once again returned to the bottom of the blood river. Not only that, the skeleton was just a few dozen feet away from him. The blood river was about 3 feet wide as usual, but the difference from the last time was that this time he was in the middle of the blood river, while the last time he was outside the blood river. The huge golden talisman was still suspended in the air. As the golden light fell on Ningqing's body, a very deep and comfortable feeling welled up in his heart. His body obviously did not have any hidden injuries, but when he was swept by this golden light, Ningqing felt that all the hidden injuries on his body automatically dissipated. Ningqing stood up and stretched his body, feeling pleasantly surprised in his heart. His body really had become a lot stronger. This heaven-opening talisman was just too amazing. Unexpectedly it had this kind of effect. Just when Ningqing was about to call out to the skeleton under the giant talisman suddenly sat up again. "Hey, you came so quickly? I thought that you would at least come 100 years later. I really did not expect that with your cultivation, you would be able to crush this jade talisman." The skeleton on the other hand gave out a happy cry. Ningqing quickly took out a bottle of geocentric 9 essence, and then took out a jade box before handing it to the skeleton and spoke. "Senior, this junior was fortunate enough to not disappoint you, and managed to obtain the geocentric 9 essence and the heavenly cusp flower." Good, you are very good." The skeleton said good 3 times in a row, as it raised its hand and took away the things in Ningqing's hands. Ningqing quickly spoke up. "This junior obtained 2 mature heavenly cusp flowers, as well as some geocentric 9 essence. If senior does not have enough, then this junior can take them out together. Although your cultivation progress is not fast, but you are very honest, I like this kind of character. A bottle more or a bottle less, it does not make much difference to me." The skeleton gave Ningqing an appreciative look. As for what was in Ningqing's ring, he could clearly see it at a glance. For Ningqing to come here so quickly, it was already a surprise to him, but he did not expect him to be so honest. Ningqing spoke up in a panic. "Senior is too kind. This junior originally wanted to ask senior, how could I not try my best?" It was not that Ningqing wanted to be honest, but Ningqing was sure that he would not be able to hide anything from this skeleton. He might as well just say it out loud so that he wouldn't end up as a villain. Even Rui Baishan was able to see his concealment ring. As such, this skeleton was many times more terrifying than Rui Baishan. Perhaps this skeleton was an existence similar to Taishu Shizhu. In front of this kind of existence, as long as the opposite party had the intention, he would not be able to hide any secrets from them. However, Ningqing still believed that the other party did not know that he had the everlasting Sky Thunder City and the Celestial River. Moreover, the everlasting Sky Thunder City and the Celestial River did not leak any aura. "Wait here for a while. You can also cultivate under my heaven-opening talisman. This is a rare opportunity for you." After the skeleton said those words to Ningqing, it directly opened the jade bottle containing the geocentric 9 essence, and poured the bone-chilling geocentric 9 essence over its head, allowing it to flow throughout its body. At the same time, he took out the heavenly cusp flower and placed it in his palm. Ningqing did not look at how the skeleton restored its body, as he sat in the same place and began to cultivate. He didn't need the skeleton to tell him that this giant talisman was a good thing. In just a few days, Ningqing, who was cultivating under the golden light of the giant talisman, suddenly opened his eyes. He had already broken through to the soul sculpting 2nd level. Ningqing was secretly shocked. This was the fastest cultivation speed that he had ever experienced. In such a short period of time, he had already reached the soul sculpting 3rd level. Cultivating under this, it was as if there were no bottlenecks at all. Moreover, the absorption of spiritual qi was something that came naturally. Not waiting for Ningqing to sigh at the giant talisman, he was completely stunned by the recovery of the skeleton in front of him. At this time, the skeleton could no longer be said to be a skeleton, rather it should be said to be a relatively thin man. He even grew long hair, while his skin was completely white, giving off a faint white glow. But what shocked Ningqing even more was the surrounding blood river. The seemingly endless blood river suddenly condensed into a red mist. As this mist continuously poured into the body of the man, Ningqing could only watch as the man's body became more and more solid, while his skin also started to gradually return to its normal appearance. Then he saw that the color of the water in the blood river was also getting lighter. Ningqing did not think that this blood river would really be made of blood. Since this skeleton chose this place, then perhaps it had already planned to use this blood river. Ningqing did not dare to continue to observe the recovery of this skeleton, as he also seized the time to start cultivating. How could the opportunity to cultivate under this giant talisman be rare? If someone was here to see it, they would definitely find that the aura coming from Ningqing's body was getting more and more powerful, while the aura of the naked man was getting more and more restrained, while his corporeal body was also getting closer and closer to that of a normal person. Ningqing was awakened by a long roar. He had unknowingly advanced to the 4th level of the soul sculpting realm. Ningqing suppressed the surprise in his heart. He found that the skeleton had completely returned to normal at this moment. Long hair fluttering in the wind, a handsome face, and did not look much older than him, a very handsome man. This man's long roar contained a joyful and excited mood, showing that he was extremely happy that he was able to recover. Ningqing then discovered that the set of clothes that this skeleton was wearing was his. There were many sets of clothes in the ring, but this man had casually taken one of them, and he simply did not know that it was there. Looking at the surrounding blood river, he found that it had turned into a clear river, where was the slightest bit of blood color. "My name is Songwei. This time I really have to thank you. What is your name?" The man did not put away the heaven-opening talisman suspended in the air. After the long roar, he walked to the opposite side of Ningqing and sat down. Ningqing wanted to stand up and give a salute, but Songwei waved his hand and spoke. "You have saved my life, and we are friends of the same generation. I just took a set of clothes from you, and did not greet you, so you don't need to be so formal. Not to mention that you also have the mysterious yellow bead. As such, your future achievements would not be any less than mine." Ningqing came from Earth. As such, he still felt that everyone was equal in his bones. Although he had cultivated in the Yixing mainland for many years, he knew that cultivators placed a lot of importance on seniority. However, since Songwei had said so, he did not feel that it was inappropriate. "Many thanks, elder brother Songwei. I am called Ningqing." Ningqing also no longer acted pretentiously. Songwei nodded in appreciation. He liked this kind of person who had their own opinions, and was not a yes-man. Although the geocentric Ninine essence and the heavenly cusp flower are not particularly precious things, but they are not simple in the Yixing mainland. Your cultivation is so poor, yet you were able to obtain these two things. Presumably it was not easy. Unfortunately, my current cultivation cannot be restored, and is simply too low. Besides seeing the heaven-opening talisman, I cannot take out anything else, nor can I give you any more benefits. Songwei spoke with a slight regret. Ningqing immediately replied, "Many thanks, elder brother Songwei. For me, the most important thing is to go back and see my home. I do not have any extravagant expectations." He was secretly shocked in his heart. He could not even see what Songwei's cultivation was. He could only feel a powerful and vast aura. With this kind of cultivation, how could he say that his cultivation was too low? Wouldn't that make him an ant among ants? After Songwei listened to Ningqing's words, he pondered for a moment before speaking. "I only know about this place called Earth from you. I have never heard of it before. With my current ability, I should be able to barely help you. Presumably, you do not know what plane Earth is located in, or what galaxy." Galaxy. Ningqing froze for a moment, but he quickly reacted. He had a rank 5 battle disc, which indicated that there were countless technological true cultivator civilizations in the universe. It was not surprising that elder brother Songwei came from a technological true cultivator civilization. After understanding this, Ningqing quickly spoke up. "Elder brother Songwei, I know that Earth is located in the Milky Way galaxy." Milky Way galaxy? I have never heard of it. However, this is not important. My heaven-opening talisman does not have high requirements for the coordinates of the galaxy. The heaven-opening talisman is not something that can be compared to the cosmic flying saucers or the dark void airship. The heaven-opening talisman can help you find the place where you were born as long as you follow your soul essence. Fortunately, you should have a soul essence body, so your soul essence has not changed. Song Wei nodded and spoke. When Ning Cheng heard this, he asked in shock, "Elder brother Song Wei, did you come from a technological planet? What is the dark void airship? Can the dark void airship also take me back to Earth?" Song Wei showed a faint smile. "After you enter the void in the future, you will understand how vast and boundless the starry skies are. Although a technological civilization is good, I think that it is far from being comparable to a true cultivator civilization. I do not come from a technological civilization, but from a real true cultivator planet. As for the dark void, I will explain it to you. The void between the planes is called the dark void. Moreover, between the planes is the bright void. Some people even call it the void. Those who can tear through the void and travel between realms are almighty cultivators. I have never seen a product of a technological civilization that can directly tear through the void. As for the dark void airship, it is even more impossible. The dark void airship can indeed shuttle between the planes, but it is far inferior to tearing through the void." As if afraid that Ning Cheng would not understand, Song Wei added a sentence. "For example, if a technological flying saucer wants to go from one planet to another, then it must have a clear coordinate, and then it must have a clear route. But for a real true cultivator, as long as they use their bare hands, they can tear through the void between the two planets and reach it in just one step. To put it bluntly, it is like a wall. You have to go from one side of the wall to the other side, while the technological civilization has to bypass this wall in order to reach it. As for the true cultivators, they only need to break through this wall. Do you understand?" Ning Cheng nodded. Song Wei's explanation was very thorough, coupled with the fact that he came from Earth, a technological civilization. Although Earth was a backward technological civilization, it was still a technological civilization. For the people of Earth, whether it was Mars or the Moon, they would have to fly step by step. "You have a rank 5 battle disc. I have seen this thing before. In the void, there are many of these battle discs. The Yixing mainland's true cultivators are very backward, but you can still use it." Song Wei apparently knew all the things in Ning Cheng's ring. Can elder brother Song Wei tear through the positional plane? Ning Cheng was more concerned about whether Song Wei could tear through the positional plane. If he cultivated to a certain extent, then even if he could tear through the positional plane, it would still be an incentive for him. Song Wei's tone turned dignified. "I can now tear through the positional plane, but I will need the help of the heaven-opening talisman. I heard that there is a person called Fu Lai, who can already refine a talisman that can tear through the positional plane. This person not only has an incomparably powerful cultivation, but the talismans that he refines are also unparalleled." You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.